Okay guys, it is time to tackle my blushes. This video is going to be like a collection slash declutter. I really want to try my best to get as much gone as possible, be as realistic with myself about what I want to use, what I'm going to use, what I might do reviews on, or what might work into my content. And then for the other things that I feel like aren't serving me anymore, aren't my favorites, I would really love to make those tough decisions to pass them on to other people so they can get some use out of them. So that's the goal. I'm going to try to be pretty ruthless, but as you're gonna see, there is a lot of blush. I feel like my blush collection has exploded along with the trend of blush in the last couple of years. I've been trying a lot. I have a lot of reviews. I have a lot of blush try-ons, so check those videos out. And I also have decided to go in alphabetical order, at least by letter. If I'm a little off when we get into the nitty-gritty, don't mind me, but it will be like A, B, C. So that way you can find whatever brand you want. And I hope also all the swatches I'm gonna be doing, because I'm gonna swatch everything, will be really helpful and can hopefully be somewhat of a resource for you if you were looking for them. So anyway, let's get started. First here with A, I have About Face. This is Halsey's brand, and I've had these for a little bit, but I really have not given them the love I feel like they deserve. But let me get you some swatches. The formula on these are almost like a silicone, like they're cream, but as you can see here, there's almost like a translucency to them, and also it's kind of blurring and almost like a cream to powder. It feels like a really nice primer. This first color here is called Raunchy, and then this lighter peach, which has more of like a pink kind of tone to it. That one's called Quickie. So I think I'm gonna keep Raunchy, and even though I don't have a ton of experience, I feel like I've had them a little bit, so I'm just gonna keep Raunchy and I'm gonna pass on Quickie. All right, first declutter of the video. All right, next here, this is from Adept, and this is the Amy Loves Makeup Collab Blush Palette. It also has some highlighters in here too. I will definitely be keeping this one. I bought this year. It came out earlier this year along with a palette, and there are some really fun, like cool tone pinks in here. There's also this pretty red, and although they seem like so bright, they have a really nice pigmentation to them, like a nice buildable formula that I feel like is really easy to use despite maybe a little more intimidating colors. So I've really enjoyed it the times that I've used it, and I also feel like this pink shade, like the pink highlighter, reminds me of What a Brat from Fenty, which I love. So very pretty, and I'm gonna keep that in my collection. And then the last A here, this one's from Anna Sweet, and this is one of those just like really pretty products. You know what I mean? Like I just think the packaging's so pretty, and then inside it's a black colored blush. It's a cream, and it's one of those like pH adjusting, so it looks kind of black and berry, but as you spread it out, as you start to blend it out, you can see that hot pink color coming through. So this one again, I feel like is more of a packaging and like vibe thing, but I will also be keeping that for now. We're moving on to B's, and we have tons of Bare Minerals to cover. I have gotten a lot of these in PR. I have a lot going on here. A lot of these are the highlighting blushes, which if you guys have watched my other videos, then you probably know I don't necessarily love. And then I have a few of the bronzers and just a Gen Nude blush in the powder form. So let's do some swatching. I'm gonna do the highlighters or blushing highlighters first. I'm sorry, highlighting blushes. This first one here is called Opal Glow. The thing is, I feel like I should like these. I feel like the pearl on them is so nice and soft, but I actually find the formula to be a little powdery, and so to build it up the way I want on my cheeks, it always looks a little, yeah, powdered in a way that I don't necessarily love, but I know a lot of other people love them. So if things like the Rare Beauty highlighting blushes are a little too much for you, these might be a good option. If I didn't say it, the second swatch is Peach Glow. Then this one here is Rose Glow. This is Pink Glow. And I actually somehow have two of Mauve Glow, so there's two of this one. This one's the one with the most pigment to it. And those are all the highlighting blushes, but I'm actually gonna be getting rid of all of them. I'm tempted, I'm not gonna lie. I wanna keep like one just to see, but I really feel like it's okay to let these ones go and let some other people enjoy them, so I'm gonna pass all of those on. As for the other two blushes, I have this bronzer here. This one's in Kiss of Pink, and I actually really like this one, so I'm gonna keep this blush. It's not a flat matte. It has a tiny bit of like almost a satin or something to it, but I think it's really pretty. I love the color, so I'm keeping that one. And this Gen Nude one, I want to say this one was also PR. I think I bought the bronzer, but this blush is more of like a true matte. It's a nice matte, but it doesn't really have any shimmer to it. And this one's called Call My Blush, and although it's pretty, I think I'm actually gonna pass that on too. I'm trying to be ruthless here. It is pretty, but I don't know if it's quite my color, so I'm gonna let it go. Okay, Bare Minerals definitely took a hit with that one, but unfortunately it's gonna get worse before it gets better, guys. These are relatively new from Bare Minerals. These were also sent to me, but these are highlighting blushes as well. So same names, but they're in liquid form. And then there's also the bronzer range in liquid form. I was really excited for these. I really wanted these to work for me, but I just find them to be a little too serumy, but serumy in a way that they feel pretty greasy. They feel like skincare, and then they kind of also feel like a gloss on my face, and it just doesn't work for my skin type. I am oily, so these just are not a long-term win for me, even if I do like the tiniest amount, which is sometimes hard to do with these squeeze bottles. So let me get you some swatches. I'm gonna do something heavy so you can really see the color, but that's the thing, like I feel like they sheer out a little bit, so if you really want to see the color, you're gonna have a lot of product. I have a whole blush try on if you really want to see. All of these shades on my cheeks, you can see them there, but this one is Opal Glow. I mean, the shine is beautiful, do not get me wrong. It's really in that formula for me. All right, I got some dots going, but this is Peach Glow here. This one is Rose Glow, which is kind of light in color. It almost looks translucent there. Then this one's Pink Glow, and then last, this is Mauve Glow. So again, they're really pretty, but I feel like they're best for people with dry skin, or if you really want that moisture. I don't know, let me know how you make these work if you really love them, but I'm getting rid of all of the liquid highlighting blushes. And then that leaves us with the bronzers, which is the same thing. These just don't work for me, so let me just get you swatches, but the formula is exactly the same. It's just different colors, and I love these tones. They're more like terracotta, like sun-kissed, just really beautiful, like the bronzers. That formula is just something I can't get past. So first here, this is Kiss of Spice, which is like a bronzy color. It has a little bit of shimmer to it. Then we have Kiss of Copper, which is like an orangey color, but it has a lot of yellow in that base as you shear it out. Then Kiss of Mauve, which is stunning. I love that color. Kiss of Pink, which is another really pretty dusty pink. I really like that shade. And then we have Kiss of Rose, which again, really pretty. So love the tones, but this formula again is a little bit more tricky for me and my skin type. So all of those are gone as well. I'm hoping I can find some homes for these because they are really new. I believe next in alphabetical order would be Bosma. This is relatively new to me, so I'm gonna keep it for now. It's one of their cream blushes. I think they have quite a few shades, but this is like the hot pink one. If you saw one of my more recent videos about the Sephora favorites blush set that's been out, this actual size and color is the one that's in there. So I have a whole video breaking those down if you want to check it out. Anyway, that's the shade Fuchsia, so I'm going to keep that, like I said, and keep trying it. I definitely want to try out this formula, and it's a newer brand to me, so that's always exciting. Next here I have some Benefit stuff, and I have 3 different products, 2 of the powder blushes and the Benetint. I am going to keep the Benetint. I know this is really popular. It's had like a resurgence, which is so funny because I feel like when I first got into makeup, this was a popular product, and I think it just goes to show the things that like stand the test of time in a way, but it's a pretty rosy stain. I actually don't want to get stained, so too late, too freaking late. I was smart enough at least to put it there. Looks like I have a problem with my finger. Anyway, this is definitely going to stay though. I want to just play around with it. I feel like stains can be tricky, and I know a lot of people can just like make this work so easy. So yeah, that's going to stay in my collection. As for these 2 blushes, okay, I have Sunny and I have Willa. These have been I don't know if they're reformulated or just repackaged because they're way thinner. They've always done this like box thing, but they used to do boxes that were deeper and they came with a brush, and the top also came all the way off. That's like the original packaging of these box blushes, but now they're a little thinner, you know, they're updated and more modernized. But Willa, this is the color Willa. I bought these during one of those Ulta sales, you know, where they're half off, so I got a good deal on them, but I have not really been impressed. I don't know what it is. I'm not really drawn to them. I don't know if I even want to keep them, to be honest. You know, like my gut is telling me get rid of them, and I don't want to regret that, you know, but I kind of think I am going to pass on them. What I really want Benefit to do is come out with Rockateur again. That was one of my all-time favorite blushes. I love that thing, okay? I wore it down. Like I had pan in it. It was so good. I loved the color. I love the shimmer. So if they brought that back, maybe I would purchase that or something in the same vein, but these just aren't doing it for me. I don't know. I'm fine with passing them, and I'm just gonna go with that feeling. Yeah, those are gone. I believe next is Bobbi Brown, and I have a few different things. So I'll start with the powders first. These are both limited edition, so you can't get these, but I feel like Bobbi Brown re-releases stuff stuff, does their limited edition stuff all the time, re-promotes things. So you have to kind of be careful, one, that you're not going to repurchase things that you might already have in the permanent line, just with different packaging, or other limited edition stuff in new limited edition releases, if that makes sense. So anyway, these are both duos. This one's called Peach Glow, which it's so pretty. I mean, I love the Bobbi Brown baked powders. I think they're beautiful. Lots of shine. Let me get you, these are kind of big swatches, but the highlight is called Peach Glow, and then this is called Peach Flush. So I'm definitely going to keep this. These are the types of products that I'm like using when I'm not testing other stuff, like just staples in a way in my collection. So definitely keeping that. This other duo here has another highlighter and blush in it. The highlighter is a little more stark in this one, and then the blush is actually more blushy, and it doesn't have as much shimmer to it. A really pretty duo for like every day. The blush is Nude Flush, and this is called Honey Glow, the highlighter. So very pretty, and again, keeping both of those. As for these creams, these are called the Pot Rouges. I really love these. I've been using this one. Look how gross it is, okay? If you guys watch my recent favorites video, then you've probably seen this, but this is the shade Powder Pink. I, again, don't know about that name. Like, I don't think that's necessarily powder pink, but I love this shade. This looks so good on me. It's a little bit more of a creamy formula with some glow to it in the actual formula, but I feel like with a brush, it goes on so well and gives me a little bit of shine, a little bit of dew, and it's stunning. So I have two new shades. These are relatively brand new. I got a really good deal on them, so I thought, let's try some new colors. Let's see. Sometimes the magic, though, really is in a specific color, so we'll see how I get on with these, but this one's a little deeper. I think for fall it might be really pretty. This one's called Chocolate Cherry, and then this one's called Pale Pink. It's almost like a classic kind of pink colored blush, at least to me. Like when someone's like pink blush, this is the color I think of. So those are my Pot Rouges. Like I said, powder pink though, that is like the tried and true for me, and I'm gonna test out these colors, see if I like them just as much. And the last blush for bees, I have a buxom one here. I actually got a really great deal on this at like a TJ Maxx, I want to say. So it's the shade Seychelles. Oh my gosh, I do not know how you say that, and I know that cannot possibly be right. Okay, I believe it's Seychelles, but this is a beautiful color. This actually reminds me of the blushes I used to really be into, where they're only a little bit of color and still very neutral, and actually kind of like Rockateur. If my memory serves me right, it has that shine to it. It's really pretty. I feel like it blends with bronzer really nicely for like this kind of tan look, but not necessarily too sunburned, you know? So I've been enjoying it, and it was a great deal. So definitely keeping that one for now. Really pretty color. If you're into those neutral blushes, this might be one to check out. All right, the declutter pile is looking pretty good so far. I'm happy with that. We are now moving on to C's, and this is a pretty big category, so prepare for a lot of C's. First year is from Calibre. This was sent to me, and it's the Social Super Bloom Lip and Cheek Hydrating Soft Stain. Okay, it's pretty much a mouthful, but it's one of those kind of cheek stain blushes, but you can use it on the lips. Like, we've seen a lot of these kind of products come out recently. It's really pretty and glossy. I haven't really given this much love, so I'm gonna keep it for now just to test the formula more, but I want to get this off because I don't want it to stain too bad. Oh, that's workable. You know what I mean? I feel like you can see where it was, but it didn't stain too much too fast, I feel like. Okay, the next brand I believe is Catrice, and I have so much from Catrice. These were all sent to me, so that is the reason. I have powder blushes. I have liquid blushes. I have a stick cream blush. I have a palette. Like, there's so much here. So yeah, I definitely want to pare this down. One I know for sure, and this just kind of is something I've been realizing as I've been trying more blushes on, but also I specifically didn't like this formula, but these liquid blushes, I don't know if they're for me, where you have to squeeze them out, kind of like the Bare Minerals, the Glossier ones, like all of those. I just find them really difficult to use. You have to put them on the back of your hand because I'm not personally going to squeeze a dot onto my face, and they're just kind of messy. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. I love a cream in a pan. I like a cream in a blush stick, like something like that where I can use my brush and have a little more control, I feel like, over it. So let me get you some swatches though. Again, if you want to see these all, I think I tried them all on in my blush try on, definitely check out that video. So in order, this one is Velvet Rose, and as you can see, like, they're just a little greasy and I feel like a little thin for me. The red one's called Ready Go Red. Then we have this vibrant orange. That one is called Orange Fizz. The plummy kind of color is called Plumtastic, and then the pink is called Pink Feeling. So There's the colors. I mean, I think it's a pretty selection of colors, but I just don't like that formula. It just doesn't work for me on top of them being liquid and in this form. So yeah, they gotta go. Okay, I feel like this one's gonna be a hard one for me because I actually think the quality of this palette's really great. It's the Summer Obsession face palette. And again, I've enjoyed the bronzers in here. I've enjoyed the highlighters in there, the blushes. I think the powders are really great quality. I'm just not drawn to using it, to be honest. And sometimes that is the case with like packaging and different things. And also I just have a really large collection, so sometimes I have other things tempting me and calling my name, and you know, this was just sent to me, but this is what it looks like. Some swatches. A nice, really easy to wear palette if these colors suit you. Like I said, the formula is great. The powders are easy to blend. It's an easy look. So if you're looking for something like that, it might be something to check out. But all that being said, if you couldn't tell, I'm gonna pass that on. And pretty easy here, I'm also gonna pass this on. The Cheek Flirt Face Stick. This is the color Orange Peach. It's nice. Like, I think it's actually a formula I probably would like because I feel like the pigmentation's still there as you blend it out. Has a little bit of grip to it, but it's not sticky feeling kind of thing. But again, I just have so many blushes, as we're gonna get to. We're only on C. We're only on Catrice, guys. And I know this is just not going to get any love, so I'm gonna pass it on. Now, these powder blushes, I actually do think I'm gonna keep at least one. I wanna swatch them out though, see what I like. There's 3 matte blushes. Let me get them all organized here. So like I said, there's a matte formula and a glow formula, and I think, I don't know if I'll keep the glow or the matte, but let's swatch them. Super soft, a little powdery, but very like blendable formula on these. It's a great one for the price point for sure. This is called Peach Heaven. This next one's called Berry Breeze, which again, really pretty, kind of that blurring powder formula. So pretty. And then last here, the kind of more neutral one, which is the one I'm kind of tempted by, is called Spice Space. I think that's a really pretty, like easy everyday kind of color. So I'm kind of tempted by that one right now. I think the other two, although beautiful, I think I'm gonna pass them on just because they're matte, and I have a few matte formulas I really like, but you know, I tend to go for at least a little shimmer. For the other ones, these are actually kind of like a mosaic of color, but I've kind of ruined that. This first one that's like peachy is called Coral Sky. This kind of mauvey one is called Cloud Wine, another really pretty one. And then last, for a little bit of a bright pink. I mean, all of these are pretty dusty looking overall, and I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, but they're just a little more muted, I guess, a little more wearable every day, again, if these colors work for you. And that one's called Rosy Love. So I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to keep the wine shade. What's it called? Cloud Wine. I think I'm gonna keep those two. I know they're pretty similar. I'm keeping these, but one's matte and one is a little bit more shimmery. The shimmer on these is very light though. Nothing that's gonna be too highlighty, so I'm gonna keep just 2 out of the 6. I think next is Chanel. This is my only Chanel blush item at all, and it's a blush palette. There were 2 different variations. This is like the lighter one, and as you can tell, like what left. Like this is actually nasty, gross. Like, it's disgusting. But I really have enjoyed this. I actually wouldn't mind trying out like a single blush now that I've tried these out, but I really love that in this blush palette, every single shade works for me, which is not the case with every blush palette. That's kind of the risk you run, but these all work really well. There's like a berry color that adds a little bit of pop and some flush to my cheeks for sure. Then I have a more shimmery, lighter color that I kind of top. There's a peachier shade, and then there's like a bronzer, which I kind of just use as a neutral blush, or I kind of use it to neutralize the other blushes. Because usually when I use this, I will just put my brush in a lot of places, and then I tend to go in with this color at the very end of my whole makeup look. If I feel like I need a little blush, a little pick-me-up, I'll add a dot of that to my cheeks, and it's just beautiful. So definitely keeping that one. I think next is Chantecaille. I have 3 different blush type items. I put, I guess, blush in these like really weak air quotes, because this one here, I don't know, it can be a lot of things. It's the Sunbeam Cheek and Eye Shade in the shade Ray, and this is what it looks like. Again, another really well-loved product in my collection. I like to use this basically as a blush because it's pretty shimmery. It's like a really bronze shimmery color, maybe a touch of rosiness to it. So I find it works best if it's like a highlighting blush kind of swept over the cheeks for a sun-kissed look. That's what I do with it. So definitely keeping that one. It was limited edition. I mean, the packaging matches my nails. I love this kind of color. Definitely a fun and kind of prized piece in my collection, I guess. As for these other 2 compacts, these are the blushes that came out this summer or spring, maybe it was, I don't know, in one of the most recent 2024 collections from Chantecaille. So there's 2 different blushes. They're baked, I want to say, and they are really beautiful. Again, I'm trying them on in that blush try on video. So check it out. I'm telling you, face swatches galore. And I don't know, I feel like they're maybe a little too similar. This first swatch there is called Confidence, and then for the other one, which is just slightly more peach, but I feel like on the cheeks, they're very similar on me. That one's Energy. Very pretty. I'm gonna keep both for now. I mean, these things are so expensive. If you don't know, Chantecaille is just so expensive in general. $75 each, guys. $75. I definitely want to give these a lot of tries and wear before I decide to move one out. So they are staying for now. And you know, I go back and forth with this packaging. Sometimes I think it's kind of cute, but it's pretty light. And again, for that price, I don't know. Definitely didn't feel as cool or inventive as the neon green one. We're now on to a little bit of Charlotte, darling. I have a few different pieces. Let's do the blush palette first. I definitely want to keep this. I really like this blush palette actually. It came out with Holiday a little bit ago. All right, here it is. I think that this is so pretty. I love that there's highlighters and blushes. You get like a more neutral blush for every day, which I do feel like pulls a little pink on my skin. Then you get two highlighters, which again, I kind of use interchangeably, and this pop of like a pink. So I don't know why it's looking like that. The swatch is weird as hell, but that's what the actual swatches of the palette look like. And I think it's pretty. I really enjoyed this, so I am going to be keeping that. Plus, I do love the packaging too. It's one of those things that looks really cute in my makeup bag, but also is really practical and like works for me. So definitely keeping that one. And now for all the wands. I have a couple different ones here. I have some of the matte ones. I have the shade, what is this? Pillow Talk? Everything's Pillow Talk with Charlotte Tilbury. But this is what it looks like. Really pretty, kind of dusty mauve kind of shade. I really am excited for this kind of declutter and revisiting my collection type of video so I can bust these back out because I remember really liking them. And you know, I'm not always a fan of these puff things, and especially the countless dupes we've been seeing from every brand everywhere. But there's something about these ones I do like. Maybe it's because they're like the original. I don't know. Anyway, this is Pillow Talk Pink Pop, which is way more peachy than you would ever think Pink Pop should be, but I definitely want to keep those two. As for the Beauty Light wands, these ones I keep in my blushes because I have more blushy shades, at least on my skin tone. Like they're not quite light enough to just highlight. So this one is just Pillow Talk. What the hell? Everything's literally Pillow Talk. Okay, Pillow Talk, and then this one's medium 2, I guess, which is really pretty. It's like a copper, but again with like a kiss of something a little rosy to it. I know I love the Pillow Talk highlighter beauty wand. I think it's just so stunning over blush, kind of meshing it all together. This also can look really pretty as a blush on me, like a more coppery blush, but you know, I just have so much, and I think I'm actually gonna pass that one on. Just, you know, when I'm thinking of everything in my collection, I think I can let that one go. So I'm gonna let 2 medium go and just keep Pillow Talk. Yeah, I had to keep checking that. I'm like, wait, you're telling me this is Pillow Talk, but this is also exactly named Pillow Talk. Like, they're both literally just Pillow Talk. What? What? I believe next is Ciate London. I have 5 different blushes here. I want to say all of these ones, which these are all a part of like the same range, were sent to me, and I think I got this in a BoxyCharm like a million years ago. So this first one, the Marbled Light Blush in Burnt. I think this is a really pretty one for a burnt kind of look. It is super easy to blend, really beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful blush. I'm tempted to keep it. I don't know, this swatch is really getting me. There's something about it, and I don't know. I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile, which I'm trying not to do a maybe pile, but that one's gonna go in the maybe pile. As for these other ones, these are called the Glow 2 blushes. They're really illuminating, and they're kind of like, I don't wanna say the first one because, you know, makeup's been doing its thing for a long time here, but I feel like with the drops of like the Fenty highlighting blushes, the Rare Beauty ones, these were like the ones back in the day, like the highlighting blushes back in the day, okay? Let me get you some swatches. All right, here they are, and the glow on those is really no joke. That first swatch there, the most neutral, that one's called First Date, so pretty. This peachy one's called Tempt Me. This more pink one, I believe is called Dollface, yeah. And then last, the one that has a little bit more of almost a berry to it, that one's called Deep Love. So really pretty again, super glowy. I know I want to keep First Date, and to be honest, I almost feel like I could get rid of the rest. Maybe I'll keep this peachy one just in case. Tempt Me. It's tempting me, baby. But I think I'm gonna pass on the other two And again, maybe at the end I'll do like a quick pass through of stuff once I kind of see what I have, what I've decluttered, because I'm telling you already right now, I am so excited for this because I'm just getting my collection back to me a little bit and seeing those little facets that make it mine and not just every blush that exists, you know, on the market. I think next we have Clinique, and these blushes, the Cheek Pop blushes, I believe they're called, have been a staple on my channel. I think I made a video a while ago at this point. It feels like not that long ago, but it's coming up on a year almost. You know, talking how I'm kind of falling out of love, and in a way I have. Like, I definitely don't use these like I used to. I'm definitely still keeping some though, and this is going to be one of the oldest blushes in my collection, but Plum Pop from them, I don't even know if they make it anymore, to be honest. I don't think it's like available, but it is one of the prettiest pinks, and it's one of those hot pinks that's been around. Okay, this has been around for a while. Absolutely stunning, and these have that perfect amount of shine and shimmer to them, but they're not overly shimmery, and they're not going to emphasize texture either. So I do love this formula, even if I have become a little, I guess, bored, or I don't know, you know, I just feel like sometimes you want new stuff, but they are so good. As for the other colors, let me get you some swatches. This one's Fig Pop, which is beautiful. I do feel like it's kind of similar to Topaz though. I don't know if I need both. Let me swatch them right next to each other. And I feel like these Topaz, I think this is Opal and that's Topaz, they have been around for a little, so I think I'm gonna get rid of Fig Pop. I feel like, you know, Topaz is close enough. And then this Opal one actually used to be one I used all the time. It's a little light. Like, I'm like, man, I really must have gone in on this one. But it kind of replaced the Nude Pop. I used to wear the Nude Pop shade all of the time. It's like my favorite blush. And this one's a little bit orangey. I don't know. I almost feel like I can let that one go. So I think I'm going to. I'm feeling the power, so I'm gonna let go of it and just keep these two, which is Topaz Pop and Plum Pop, which I know is a weird name, but that's what the pink is called, Plum Pop. All right, we are on to the biggest C and the last C, which is ColourPop, and most of this ColourPop stuff was sent to me. I have a few things I did purchase, but a lot of it is PR, and it's gonna be interesting what I get rid of. I feel like it's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna kind of cull this section of my collection just because I want things I'm really using, really loving, really excited for, so we'll see what stays. I guess I'll start with these powder blushes. I have a few from the core line, I think. And then these ones came out with the, I think it was the 1111 collection, which are so pretty. I love this packaging. I think it's absolutely so cute. And let me get some swatches. So this is Message Me, and I really do think if you're looking for like an easy blurring blush formula, the ColourPop one is really good. That first shade's called Message Me. This next one, which is a little more neutral, kind of tan bronze, that one's called Claim It. And last here, another one that's like more easy to wear. That one's called Good Energy. So I actually think I'm gonna keep these two just because the formula is so easy to use. I do like the packaging. I'm gonna keep those, but I'm gonna get rid of that more terracotta shade, which I normally love, but I tend to wear that shade almost in a cream a little bit more. So I think I can pass on that one. Plus I have that shade or similar shades a lot over in my collection. So I'm just gonna keep these two for now, and I'm gonna let go of that. The other blushes I have here, like I said, I think are part of the core line. So I have Sassy Pants, and these are all, again, matte blushes, which my hand was a little bit wet, so don't mind that weird swatch, that is why. I have some hot pink ones here, which I tried on a ton of hot pink blushes in a video, so check that one out. I'm telling you, you'll see it. It's like hot pink blush is like taking over or something. That one's called Prairie Air, which is more of like a warm toned hot pink, and then this one, which I think is Flamingo. This one's a lot cooler and honestly a little less pigmented, it seems. Definitely trying to be like Dior dupes, but I honestly think I can get rid of all of them. Like, I'm not really feeling any of them, and for the hot pink blushes, I definitely have my fill. Like, I have so many from so many brands, so I'm gonna pass on all three of those. These cream blushes that came out with the Pokemon collection, I actually really didn't like, unfortunately. I think the packaging is so freaking cute, and I thought the colors were a fun choice as well, but I felt like the formula was just, I don't know, it's a cream, but it's kind of, again, that primery thing, but I don't find that it goes to powder necessarily. So it was just a little harder to build up than I wanted to. I don't know, just not really for me. This red one I thought was so pretty. So color-wise, this one's called Electro Ball, the red, Metronome for the pink one, and then the purple one is called Hypnosis, which has a nice pink to it. But yeah, I'm gonna get rid of all of those. So hopefully I can find someone who loves Pokemon. I think these next ones are some of the newer blushes from ColourPop. Again, they sent me like 4 different shades, but the 2 I was interested in trying. I have Culver City and Super Shy. Culver City's the darker one, so let me swatch these because I haven't even swatched them yet. These definitely feel like a Rare Beauty dupe, like that's what they're kind of going for. So I'm interested to see how those go. I know everyone loves the Rare Beauty ones and I have a lot of them, but I don't know how to feel about them. So I at least like that they have the doe foot so you can just dot it on and then go in with a brush. So again, color wise, I have Culver City and Super Shy. So I'm going to keep them for now. Again, super new to my collection and see if I like them. I don't know if you can hear the scraping. I'm sorry if you can. But I feel like for these stick blushes, I might just get rid of all of them. I just never reach for them. And I have a lot of other sticks that I feel like I'll use, but let me swatch them. Maybe a color will get me. This color, it's not anywhere. So I don't know the color of that. Oh, it's pretty. Okay, this next one I know. This one's called Mini Me, the pink. It's super creamy. I do think the formula is nice. Oh, this is one of the older ones. You can tell like the top has it, and it's also in the shade Roosevelt, which is a more grungy kind of brown color. I think I'm still gonna get rid of that one though. And I can definitely tell the formula is different. It's a little bit thicker and kind of drier in the older one. Not necessarily in a bad way, but I do feel like the newer ones glide a lot more. Okay, and last here, this is the shade Invite Only, which is absolutely beautiful. Really love, actually, that cream stick blush. So, oof, do I want to keep it? I'm gonna put it in the maybe. That's going in the maybe. The other 3 I'm gonna pass on. Last for ColourPop. Oh my gosh, we're almost done with C's. These are all of the Super Shock ones, and I really love the Super Shock formula for eyeshadows and for blushes. I think it's really pretty. Highlighters as well. Like, I think it's just a really nice cream formula, but I definitely don't need this many, and I don't know. I made a big order. I don't know at this point how long ago it was. It was under distress, let me tell you. Okay. Anyway, let's look at what we have here. We have Chiffon, which is a really beautiful peachy color, but it has almost like a purpley pink shimmer to it. I don't know, man. That's stunning. I might have to keep that. They're just so pretty, and I feel like for the price point and even the packaging, like everything about it's really elegant, like more elegant than you would expect, and I feel like really mimics some high-end stuff. This one's Drop of a Hat, which is kind of that golden peach, but a little bit more like a deeper golden peach. I think that one can go. I have some from the Tinkerbell collection. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. It's like a burnt bronzy kind of shade. It's called Darling. That one I think I can pass on. It's pretty, but that can go. The one I've always really loved, and one of the reasons is because it reminds me of this Pat McGrath highlighter, but in cream form, so I think I'm still gonna keep it. It's just stunning. It's really, really pretty. That one's called Happy Thoughts, so even though discontinued, that one's staying. And then I think these other 3, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go, but let me just see what we got. Root Flute, kind of like a mauve. Again, pretty, but that's gonna go. This one's called No Way, which is a pretty pink, a pinky peach. I mean, stunning. If you package this, I'm telling you, if you package this formula in a Chanel canister somehow, you know, but this kind of putty thing, you would be like, wow, it's so pretty, you know? That one might stay. Maybe with this declutter, I'll get back to loving these like I used to. And then this last one, again, this one can go. It's a little harder. Not that it's dried out, but it can go. It's a beautiful kind of berry. It's called Sounds Grape. So those 2 are gonna go. I'm keeping 3, more than I kind of expected. Well, here's a little preview of what I'm keeping. Definitely added a lot to the declutter pile though. And then I also have 2 items that are being thought about. All right, we are on to D's, which I have quite a few of. So let's see what we have in here. I believe Janessa Myricks would be first. So I have some of the kind of yummy blushes. 2 of them are like the first formula, or like just the blush, and the other 2 are highlighters. So I have this orange one, which is called Bellini, and then the more mauve-y kind of pink shade, that one is called Rose and Brunch. So let's see. I think I want to keep the Rose and Brunch, but the orange one's just a little orange on me, so I think I can pass that one on. I like this formula okay. I think it's nice. It's pretty pigmented though, so a little goes a long way. The other two, these are the ones I really enjoy, and they're the ones that have a little shimmer to them. So this pinky one, which I don't know, it just reminds me of something from like Westman Atelier, honestly. That one's called Unbothered. So freaking pretty. And then the peach one, also really beautiful. That one's called Low Key. So I know I want to keep those. I'm even considering letting this one go. Again, not that I don't love the formula. It's fine. I don't know. I've not gravitated to them really since I got them. And I know I love these ones more because they have that little bit of a shimmer. So I don't know. I'm going to get rid of both. I hope I don't regret it, but I'm gonna let them go. And I'm keeping the shimmery formula. I feel like those are the decisions that are like hardest when it comes to a declutter, because it's like, they're not necessarily bad, but I also feel like they're just gonna cover up the things I really would love and the things that make my collection me, you know, a little bit more. So again, hopefully I don't regret that. The other two blushes I have from Danessa Myricks, these are liquid ones. They're the Vision Flush, and I have the shade Bread and Butter. These are very similar, I think, to like the Rare Beauty, like a similar concept. And then I think this one's like ballet shoes. They are very pigmented though, so I have to be careful. Oh my gosh, can I screw the cap on? Yeah, this one's called Ballet Slippers. This one is called Bread and Butter. So pretty, but I don't know what I want to do. I just don't wear them very often. These liquid blushes, they tend not to be my absolute favorite. I love the Say ones. Those are ones that actually I reach for a lot. So I think I'm gonna pass them on, give them new homes. I think next would be Dior, and I'm gonna keep this. This is brand new, again, very expensive, and it's the Forever Glow Maximizer. I have the shade Rosy. It is like those Charlotte Tilbury ones. I don't know. I don't keep a lot of these. This is making me actually happy I got rid of the Danessa Myricks because I don't always use these, but I love that this has a little more sheen to it. It has like a shine, and it also is pretty sheer, so you can build it up for a more blushy look, but you can do something a little more low key, so I'm keeping that. And then I have the Dior, what are these? Backstage Rosy Glow blushes, something like that. Now here's the thing. This one you can tell, look at the packaging difference, the label. This is like an older Dior blush, and it's in the coral shade. I am tempted. I don't know. Why do I want to keep this? Because I feel like these are relevant. That's why. Like, these are relevant blushes. I feel like people want to know how similar stuff is to them. So I'm like tempted in that way to keep them, even though I don't love all the shades. This one is the newer kind of coral that came out. And I do think the newer ones are getting a little bit better about like hard pan and things like that. This one's called Poppy Coral, and it is brighter. You can see that there. I have Cherry, which I actually really quite like the cherry one. This one is a more hard pressed blush though. It looks really good with the right brush. I love the cherry one. Like, that one I'm keeping, although I don't love the hard pan situation. And then Rosewood, again, a little hard pan. It's like a rosy mauve kind of color. I don't know. I go back and forth on these. I think just because they're so like in the zeitgeist in a way, you know what I mean? Like, these have had their moment. They're still having their moment. They're still these pieces. I think I'm going to keep them for now. I can always get rid of them later if I really feel like I'm not using them, but for now, they're staying. I think next would be Dominique Cosmetics. These are cream blushes. I have every shade, so you'll get the full swatch of the whole line here, but I love, let me find it. Oh, Natural Rose. This is one of the first cream blushes in a color like this that really was like, okay, I can do reds, especially if they're more rosy like this. It just looks so good. I love the formula of it as well. Like, you can see it adds that color. It still shears out really nicely, but it's not like overly primer feeling, like silicone, anything like that. It feels still like a cream, but it's also not overly liquidy or greasy or anything like that. It's just a really great formula. Again, mine looks disgusting, but it's okay. Everything's good with it still. I'm definitely keeping this one. And because I love that one, I got the other two colors, and I got great deals on them. Don't get me wrong, you know me, I'm always getting a deal, but I don't know if I love these as much, and so I just don't feel like compelled to keep them. This peach one is called Warm Peach, what a apt name, and then the other one is called Soft Pink. Again, a pretty color. I do think it's pretty, but I just don't know if I really need soft pink. I'm just always gonna go for the Natural Rose. So I'm gonna get rid of these two, just keep the one color that I love. And it's something that I love, trying different colors, seeing if something works. Sometimes a blush color or colors in other sections of makeup, like, I might not expect to work for me, but then it does, and it's like my favorite. It complements, it's just great. But sometimes when you expand something because you really like the formula, like I mentioned before, sometimes that color plays a pretty big role in why you like a specific product. So anyway, I'm letting these go. I don't feel like I need to keep them just to have the line. I think next would be Dose of Colors. This is the Shayla and Dose of Colors collection, the Happily Ever After. I believe this palette was made in collaboration with kind of like her wedding. Like that was the inspiration for the collection, which it is beautiful, but it's just not quite my colors. The kind of highlighter or shimmery shade in here is a really pretty copper, and then there's a nice pink blush, super pretty, but I definitely feel like I can pass that on to someone, and this was sent to me in PR. And I believe we're on our last D. This is Drunk Elephant's Rosy Drops, and I need to shake these. I got these in a BoxyCharm a long time ago, and I actually just recently, I hope it's not weird hearing the shaking of the bottle. It's like on a white screen, but I actually got the bronzer drops and the highlighter drops recently, so part of me wants to keep these just to kind of try them all out and get my thoughts. But the thing is, and tell me if you have this, it just looks a little separated. Like when I put a dot out, it looks pretty dang separated, but then when you blend it out, it's fine. Like, you know, it doesn't seem anything else off, and it doesn't smell either. It's pretty. It kind of reminds me of the Dior one though. Like, I don't know, not a lot of colors coming from here. You're not getting like a blushy look necessarily with this, but I do think the pearl in it is really nice. It's like fine. It's a elegant, really beautiful shimmer to it. I don't know. I kind of think I'm just gonna get rid of it. Like, I don't understand the rosy drops, or really the drops in general, but let me know if that's normal, if your drops do that. I just feel like I can recreate this with things I have. Even though I know it's like relevant, but I feel like the bronze drops are more relevant. I'm gonna declutter it. I don't know. We are on to E's, and I have quite a few e.l.f. products to go through in the blush category. So let's go through those first. I know off the bat, these little halo, you know, Charlotte Tilbury dupes, I don't think I'm gonna keep these. Oh, they're twisted. I'm trying to pull them off. Okay. This first shade here, this is called Candlelit, which I do think is a pretty decent dupe for, I don't know if it was the Pillow Talk shade or, you know, I think that it's pretty, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, these just, I don't love these overall. I'm telling you, it's an exception for the Charlotte Tilbury, and even then, not my fave, but you can see it's looking kind of gross in there. So contrary to all the noises I've made and the way I feel like the packaging looks and feels, the swatches are beautiful, but they're gonna go. Next for blushes, let's do these cream putty blushes. I have some of the luminous, or just one luminous one. This is the shade Maui. Oh, it is pretty. This is a pretty blush shade. Definitely want to keep that. It's like a nice dusty color, but it has a little bit of golden sheen, but not too much. Like you guys know, I'm not a big fan of something that flips a little too golden, so that I want to keep. I do like this formula a lot. As for the other colors, let's see what we got. We got this orange one. That kind of reminds me, oh wow. Yeah, that reminds me of the Danessa Myricks, but a more sheer, blurry version, although the Yummy Skin also blurs a lot. And that's the shade Bahamas. Definitely a good dupe if you're looking for one. This kind of ruddy color is called Bahamas. I think that one's stunning. I love a little sunburnt shade like that. Oh, and then this one doesn't look like it's been touched. Okay, I'm gonna not touch it. Sorry if you wanted to swatch. Oh, I almost touched it, but I'm gonna put that back on, because if I can give it away without anyone touching it, me being the one touching it, that would be great. That's the shade Caribbean, so I'm just gonna keep the Bali shade because I do think that one's so pretty. It looks really good with like bronzer, kind of a tan, so I'm keeping that. And then I also have these blushes from e.l.f. I think these are actually really quite great. That being said, I don't know if I'm gonna keep any because I just don't reach for them. I think the packaging is definitely on the cheaper side, which helps keep the price down for sure. Color-wise, beautiful. I mean, look at that. This is the shade Lychee. I mean, I can't lie, they're beautiful, but I just don't use them enough, and I don't know. They need to go. I know realistically they should go. This next duo here is called Watermelon. I love the highlighter in there. Very, very pretty. This next one is called Spiced Apple. I mean, look at this. If you're into more neutral blushes, I think you would love these. This last one's a little bit more out there, I feel like, because it's a pretty light peachy shade, and it is correctly named Cantaloupe. So again, beautiful. If you're on a budget, you don't want to spend a lot, and you don't mind packaging, I I think these could be great options for you, but I just know they gotta go for me, even if they're good. I think next we have M Cosmetics, and I have two of the blushes here. They're the Heaven's Glow blushes. I have Baroque and Rococo. Baroque is, I believe, the lighter of the two. Let me try not to show myself, but this is what it looks like. Very much like a neutral nude blush. I love the glow that's in these, and I'm pretty sure they just came out with new shades, so I'm kind of tempted to try those. Although the packaging on these is way too big. I don't really love that for some reason. This other one is pretty pigmented, like sometimes it's a little bit difficult to wear, so let me know how you like to wear it, because it's a little, you know, it's a little dark for me. That one's called Rococo. I'm gonna keep them for now, but I definitely want to like fully get my thoughts on them, because I feel like they've just gotten lost, and I'm kind of sad about that because they were a formula. Like, I love a baked formula. I love that they have a little sheen. So there's a lot of things going for them in terms of formula and style and taste that I like and have. So I want to keep these for now, but I really need to wear them more. Okay, I think next is Essence, and I think I have every single one of these blushes. These pure nude ones, these are the baked blushes, and when these were launching, I think they're like $5.99. I bought a lot of them, and I also got sent some, so I don't know which is which, but I was so excited for these, but I'm sorry, I hate the packaging. I hate it. Like, it's coming off. It's coming off of the blush, so I don't know. They bubble up. But the formula's pretty. The colors are all kind of similar as well, which is a thing, so I'm torn, but let me get you some swatches, okay? First here, oh, a pretty little rose color. This one is called Berry Cheeks. This almost looks kind of like a highlighter. Very light pink. This one's called Shimmery Rose. I do kind of like that. This one is the one that has like a little bit of like actual almost glitter particles in it, which I do not like. That one's Pink Flush, so I know I want to get rid of that. Next, we're swatching Cool Coral. And this is where you can see like, okay, everything's looking the same except for that first one. And this one, unique color, I cannot lie, on this kind of grapey shade. This one's called Goldie Cassis, I think. Next, this is Pretty Peach. It's like a peach shimmery shade. Next is Rosy Rosewood. That one's pretty. And then last, which I swear looks the same, is Bold Heart. I don't know the difference. Maybe it's a little brighter. I don't know. I kind of just want to keep this lighter one and maybe this rosy one. I still hate the packaging, so I might regret even keeping these ones, to be honest. But I do like the formula and the idea. You guys know I like baked products, a little bit of sheen, a little bit of shimmer. So I'm gonna see if not having all of them, because it's, again, kind of overwhelming when you have all these to choose from. You're like, oh my gosh, what do I pick? What do I do? It's just like kind of a paralysis of options. So I'm gonna get rid of these 5 and the other one I already did and just keep the 2. Last for ease, this is Etude House. This is the Heart Pop blush in the shade Squeeze Berry, I think. It's a light pink. It's really just a cute product. I think this was sent to me from Yes Style, and you can see here like really a pastel kind of pink, if you can even see the swatch. It's pretty light, has a little bit of a sheen. It's pretty. I'm tempted to keep it because of the packaging, and you know, I love little cutesy stuff, especially if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that, but I think this one can go. I think I'm gonna let it go. All that made it out, I guess I can zoom out a little. This is everything that made it out of the declutter. I feel really great about that because I had 2 of these full for D and E. So let's move on to F. All right, we're officially on to F. I'm gonna zoom us in just a little, and I have some Fenty Beauty stuff here. Let's start with the new ones. If you watched the video of me trying these on, then you know I was so excited for these and also so disappointed. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. They're that blush lighter kind of thing, super glowy. I just didn't realize they were gonna have such strong flips on them, so that was definitely unfortunate. This lighter peach one, it just is so golden in the flip on it. I don't know, man. That one's called Fresh Peach. I still want to try it and keep testing it, maybe with another cream blush underneath so I don't need as much of it, because the metallic shine that comes through, it's just a lot. The other one, this one's called Juicy Peach. So yeah, I'm gonna keep them for now just because they're so new. Like, these launched this year in the last couple of months, but I wouldn't recommend them right now, personally. Next, I have a cream blush. I think this was like a limited edition color, and as you can tell, I went in on this baby, okay? I really quite loved this. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rid of it now. I think it's in the shade Fenty Glow. Yeah, Fenty Glow. Really pretty, nice shimmer. But I'm done. I'm ready. I'm ready to move on. Super pretty though. This other one is the Duo, and it's in Sangria Sunset. That's the pink one, and Mimosa Sunrise. Yeah, that's the orange one. You know, I have definitely shifted to more neutral makeup overall. I still do some color here and there. I still like color, but I don't know if this is really the blush duo for me anymore, you know? So that's gonna go. I'm gonna pass that on for sure. I think next it would be Fit Glow, if I'm not mistaken, for alphabetical order. This is a palette that I bought, and it has 4 different colors in here. So these are what they look like. I definitely want to keep this just because this is one of those things I bought, and oh my gosh, what am I doing? I just feel like it's gotten lost, you know? I'm getting new product a lot, new launches, PR, all of it. Always so grateful, always exciting, but things can fall through the cracks. And this is one of those ones that like I'm testing because I want to try something new and a brand I don't know much about. So that's why I got it, and I want to actually give it some more time because I feel like I haven't. So those are the swatches. I don't know. This is more like a bronzer almost than like a blush. So it'll be interesting to see how this formula works for me, all that. So I'm going to keep it for now. I realize right now Finding Ferdinand would actually be the next one. So, yeah, sorry, that's a little out of order. I have a bunch of the Finding Ferdinand blushes. These are all in collaboration with Khaki, and these were sent to me in PR. So I'm gonna swatch them, and we'll see how many I keep, because I don't think the formulas are necessarily the same, but I have a ton of Phytosurgence blushes, which are also in these little jars, and I think it might be easier to actually use and enjoy them if there aren't so many to choose from. So first here, this one's the shade Cozy. It's a pretty color. I like that one a lot. It doesn't look like it's gonna be that light from what it looks like in the pan. This one's more of like a glossy kind of sheen to it. The other one was stiffer, and that shade's Macchiato. That's a really pretty color. I do like that. I'm swatching in no particular order, so please don't mind me. This one's Sunrise. I also like that. This next one's called High Noon. Then this is Dusk. I really hope these don't stain. This one here, I don't know. This one's called Olay. I love this color. This red one's absolutely beautiful. That one's called Aperitif. This peachy pink is called Paloma. This kind of corally pink is called Spritz. And I think the last one, oh my gosh, I'm getting it under my nail. I'm swatching it up here, but it's a purple and it is called Chilled. So those are all the swatches. I think I'm gonna keep the Sunrise shade because I like that stiffer formula, and I do like this one for a pop. That was the one I used the most from the Après Ski, so I'm gonna keep I think that one's called Cozy. Those are the two I'm gonna keep. I just feel like I'll get more use out of them, and I'm gonna pass the other ones on. And last for F's, I do have something from Flower Beauty. This is the Blush Balm in the shade, what is it, Cinnamon. I remember loving this, and I do love this shade, but again, we have this kind of liquid serum blush. I don't know, I just don't gravitate to these anymore, and it's so glowy, so I'm gonna pass it on, although I do love the color. We're on to G's, and I have Giorgio Armani here. I have a few different blushes, so I have a couple of the powdered blushes, and I don't know what to do with these. I think this formula is so nice. I just don't know if these are the right colors for me. I'll probably keep the pink around just to have. I know I've gotten rid of some pinks, but I might keep that one. It looks really blurred, very smoothing kind of a pink look. And then the other one here, which the peach one's 05 and the pink one's 52. This is one of those peach gold flips, and you know, I think they can be pretty, but this one's pretty intense, so I think I can get rid of this. I'm gonna keep this one for now. I would love to like see them in a counter or like in person, and I'm sure there's like a better shade out there for me, because otherwise I think the formula is really nice. And then this is a newer one, the Luminous Silk. This is the liquid blush. It's one of those doe foot type ones, and I actually quite like this formula. It dries down kind of matte, so kind of locks in place a little, but in a nice way. It doesn't feel like masky or anything, and it's really easy to blend. The color is beautiful as well. This is the shade 62, so I'm definitely keeping that for now. I believe next we have the Girl Talk blush. I just recently hauled this in a Yes Style haul, and I think this is so pretty. The packaging is definitely a little bit out there, a little bit extravagant, and then it's another one of those like darker cream blushes. This one's like a face, and then the actual shade though is not nearly that dark. This one isn't as like black and berry and has a little bit more of like a ruddy berry tone to it, which I really think is fun, so definitely want to keep that. This is the shade, I think number 18, but it has almost like a, again, like a primary kind of feel. So it almost looks like second skin, and I think it's best not layered over too much foundation. I think these glowish blushes would be next. These are from Huda Beauty. I believe this whole line's getting discontinued, so I don't know how long these are gonna like stay around on Sephora. I'm sure once they're gone, they're gone. But I have talked about these a lot. I do like these blushes. I think they're really pretty. They're a little hard pressed, but I feel like it kind of makes them easy to work with, and they have a little bit of a sheen. I have two different shades though. Berry Juicy is the berry color, and then the more orange one is Sassy Saffron. I'm gonna keep both of these. I love using these to like add a little bit of extra color again at the end of my makeup looks. Once everything's on my face, sometimes blush can kind of get taken away, you know, like it just doesn't look as intense once everything else is more intense. So I love adding these as a little pop, and I really like them. I think they're great, so keeping those. I have one Gucci blush. This one, I mean, the packaging, this is like, you know, I get excited about this. I think it's so pretty. It feels nice in my makeup bag. It feels nice to use. It's just like all the experiences there. It is expensive, do not get me wrong, but I just love looking at it. Anyway, this color here, I got kind of this is the basic pink I'm talking about. It's called Radiant Pink. They have a little bit of a sheen. Absolutely stunning. I think this color looks pretty good on me. I love the formula, so definitely keeping this. I really do. If you're looking to treat yourself with a blush, I feel like this is like a nice, easy to wear formula, and it's also really flattering and pretty for every day, and then you get that gorgeous packaging as well. And last for G's, I have a bunch of stuff from the Give Beauty line. This is Gwen Stefani's brand, so I have every single one of the blush duos. These are powder blush duos, and these are another one I really rave about a lot. You can always find them though, like half off. I swear they go half off a lot, so never pay full price. And a lot of you have told me you can get these at like Marshalls and stuff. But let me swatch the different shades. We're starting with the purple. Maybe, you know, maybe I didn't need the purple. Let's get real. Do I need the purple? I don't know. I'm gonna keep them for now though, but you know, I'll tell you the ones I use the most. This one I love. They're duos, but I feel like the colors are overall pretty similar. The top one tends to be a little bit more shimmery, but I think they're just both really flattering, easy to use again. This is Stars Aligned. The first one was called Honeymoon Phase. This one here is Lasting Love. This is also one of my favorites. It's a pretty like easy to wear strawberry kind of color is what I would call it. And again, one of them is a little bit more shimmery, but you're getting similar colors. It's not duos where they're very different. That one's Lasting Love. I can't remember if I said that. This is another one. Again, did I necessarily need these peaches? I don't know. I don't know if I needed them, but again, I'm gonna keep them. That's Flirty Talk. I absolutely love Ex-Girlfriend. I think that's what this one is. Yeah. If you're looking for like a pink, you know, like that hot pink kind of shade, I think this one's really easy and wearable, and it doesn't go too cool tone, so I feel like it works a lot easier for me. And last, this really beautiful berry. This one's called Crush on You, and I feel like if you have a deeper skin tone, this might be one to check out. Super, super pretty. So those are all the swatches of the Give Beauty blushes. I'm gonna keep all of them. A really underrated formula in my opinion. And then last for Give Beauty and last for G's, I have the Dewy Plump Collagen Cheek Tint in the shade Marigold, and I actually quite like this. If you were nervous this is going to be a little too glowy, it actually dries down really nice. I think it has pretty good pigmentation to it. It's not overly pigmented, but you know, it still shows up, and I was really surprised by how good it was. So again, I really think there's some good formulas in this range. I don't know what it is, because overall I'm not necessarily drawn to it either. There's something about it, but I do think, you know, if you can find them, they have some good formulas. They're good products. I'm gonna keep that. We are on to H's, and I think first here is Half Caked, I want to say. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Sometimes it can get a little tricky, I'm telling you. But I have these Candy Paint Heart blushes. These are all cream blushes. I want to say I have every single one. They've sent me these, and I have a couple other blushes from them too. And I do like this blush formula. It's a little bit more on like the tacky side of creamy, but I feel like the pigmentation's there to be able to sheer it out nicely. And then sometimes when things have that kind of tacky feel, it can make them last longer as well. So this one's called Tragic Kingdom. Let's see what else we got though. This one almost looks like a bronzer. That one's You're So Last Summer. This kind of mauve one is really pretty. You can see the pigmentation here. Velvet Tiger. Disco Lemonade's the pink one, yeah. I think this one's really pretty. I'm gonna put it up here just so I have more room. Disco Lemonade. This one here is called Island in the Sun, that kind of sunburnt color. Ooh, so pretty. Then this one's Angel, another one that I think is really, really pretty. And last, there's Millions of Peaches, which is a peach, but it's more like a pinky peach. So I think I'm gonna keep these two, Angel and Island in the Sun, just because I like those colors. And again, it's one of those things when you have all the shades and they all look the same and all that, it can just be kind of a paralysis of figuring out which one to use. So I'm hoping only having the colors that I'm most likely going to want to reach for instead of some of these more fun, don't get me wrong, and needed, but adventurous colors, at least for me. I'm going to pass those on. I'm telling you, those things stick around. They really do. The other blushes I have here from Half Caked, these are called In Sync, but they're the liquid squeeze tube. So again, I'm just like, I can't. I just don't like them. I never want to reach for them. It's just not a good packaging and formula combination for me. So let me get you some swatches, but these are all gonna go. Okay, for swatches, this first one here is called No Strings Attached. Then this pink is called Maybe Baby. Kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury color. That's like pink but looks peach. Then this kind of mauve-y rose, really pretty. That one's called Delicate Drama. Then this one's called New Classic. It's kind of a peach. And then last is called Brown Sugar. So again, I'm gonna pass on all those. I think next on the list would be Half Magic. I have 3 of their cream blushes. I have Magic Brownie, which I really love. You can see these get a little nasty, but the whole thing with their packaging is that it's biodegradable or compostable, so that's kind of the whole thing there. Love these. I love Magic Brownie, so pretty, so keeping that. This one is called Don't Call Me Doll. No, just kidding. Don't Be a Doll. That one's like a peachy color. Very, very pretty. And then I really love this one called Pink Mushroom. It's kind of a plain color, but it's like super easy to use. And these are another blush that I feel like has gotten, you know, buried by all the blushes coming out. So I'm excited for those. And I think I'm going to keep all 3. I think all of them are really pretty. Okay, next H is Haus Labs. And I have quite a few products actually from Haus Labs. I have some of the new blushes like in the new packaging. I have an old blush and I have a highlighter. Let's do the blushes first. This one is Pomelo Peach. And this is what it used to look like when they first came out. This is a really pretty peach color. This is one of those matte blushes that's super blurring, really easy to use, and is one of my favorite matte formulas. Like, I think it's so good. This one is so pretty. This is Dragon Fruit Days. I think that's such a good name for it. The red kind of color is Watermelon Bliss. And then last here, this is my favorite one for every day. It's French Rosette. Okay, so those are all the blushes, and you might find this weird, but I absolutely love the new packaging. I gave it some flack, okay, because you're getting less product. These old blushes had like 11 grams of product, and these new ones only have like 5, so less than half the amount of product. But I love that they're smaller. I love that they're color coded so I can know what the hell's in there. So I think it was an upgrade overall, and honestly, like, you're not running through 11 grams of product, so, you know, I just feel like they were a better choice and maybe should have just been the first choice, but alas, you know, a little revision there. So anyway, I'm gonna keep the 3, but I'm actually gonna get rid of this one. It's a beautiful color, but I just feel like at some point I'm just gonna want it in the packaging, and that's like a weird thing. I know that it feels kind of stupid, but it's true. Like, that's literally how I feel, so I'm gonna pass that on to someone. The highlighter, on the other hand, I have it in my blushes because it's like a pink color, and I feel like that's really more how I wear it. So yeah, I'm gonna keep that one for now. I'm wondering if they're gonna end up kind of moving the other products that are bigger in the same direction. We'll see, but I'm gonna keep these 4 for now. I do also have one of the new like glassy blush sticks, and I'm gonna keep this. I'm still definitely getting my thoughts. I bought the shade Glassy Rosette. So that's what it looks like. Very glassy, okay? Very glowy looking, but I still wanna get my thoughts. I'm still testing, trying. I have a lot of blushes that came in all at once, so that's staying just because it's so new, and I definitely still need to keep testing it. From Hourglass, I have this one little tiny baby blush. This is the shade Diffused Heat, and I think these are really nice blushes. I know people go like absolutely mad for the blush palettes that come out, and you know, I'm going back and forth. I think I got this in an advent calendar, which I think is a great value. I think, you know, if you bought this blush, it's at least $20, if not more. I just don't know if it's my color. I don't know, and I'm usually down with a mini, but for some reason, I don't know. There's just something about this. I think I'm gonna pass it on. Like, I'm feeling that way, even though it's pretty. Maybe I'll travel with it first. Okay, I'm gonna keep it for now. just to make sure, and then we'll see what I do with it. Last two H's, I have some Huda Beauty stuff. I have the Love Fest Cream Blush. This blush came out with the Love Fest Burning Cherry collection, which was in tandem with the Kayali Love Fest Burning Cherry perfume. Anyway, there were two blushes. One was a little more orange. This one was a little more red. This one's called Burning Cherry. It has a little shimmer to it. Really a pretty color, you know, but I think it's time. I don't know. It was a very limited launch, and it's one of those limited launches that was fun at the time, but I don't know. I guess it wasn't a great long-term one for me. I don't know. It's a pretty color, don't get me wrong, and if I didn't have a million other blushes, it would be beautiful, but for now, with all the other competition it has to go. And then this Huda Beauty stick, I don't know how much I love this. There's something about the formula. It's a little glassy, and the pigment just moves a little, uneven in a way throughout it. It's just, I'm letting go of this. This is the shade Coral Cutie. That's gonna go. We're on to eyes. I have some Iconic London here. This Iconic London I got in a BoxyCharm, and this I don't want. So this is gonna go. It's just like a cream, I guess, highlighter palette. I'm not saying it's even bad, but it's just not really the type of product I go for, you know, especially because there's so many. Like, I like the pink shade, but I don't need the others, so that's gonna go. But it's palettes like that that I get in like a BoxyCharm that makes me think of Iconic London as like more cheap, I guess. But then they come out with stuff that's like at Sephora, and I end up paying because I want to try them, and that's how these blush sticks are. But look at this. Look how messed up this blush stick is. Do you see this? Because they don't, this is how they start. They can't go down any more than this. So they're like so far out of the tube. Let me see how much stick is here. Oh, not that much. Look at that. The whole stick, it looks like it's this big long stick. So many stick blushes are like that. Not that you necessarily go through it, but I find it interesting. Anyway, these are a unique formula. It's almost like air fluffed cream, if that makes sense. That's kind of the texture. So that's daiquiri. It has like a blurring effect. They're really pretty, but I just feel like the packaging is kind of cheap. I don't know, and I don't love that they aren't more inside the tube because I keep nicking that pink one. The orange one though is called Mimosa. I'm gonna keep both of those for now. Again, a newer edition. There's something about the packaging I'm not obsessed with. Next from Ilia, I have a cutie little mini here. This, I think, was like a birthday gift, something like that. It's the shade At Last. That is pretty. It's like almost a berry. I don't know, there's something about that color that I kind of like. I don't know, I can let go. It's just little, I'm gonna let that one go. This next one is Illamasqua. This is probably my actually oldest blush in my collection because this is one that I have had for ever. Okay, this was a very popular blush, or at least someone I watched at the time loved this blush, and so it was one that I had to get, and I think I bought it when Illamasqua was still sold at Sephora, so that was a long time ago. You might not even know they were sold there at one point. But this is the shade Lover. It's a matte peach shade. Very, very nice formula. And although it looks more pastel, like on the cheeks, it really warms up, livens up. So I just don't have the heart to get rid of this. If anything, I'll put this in like a Makeup Memories type of box. But for now, I'm gonna keep it. I don't really use it. It hasn't changed formula. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't use this type of shade as often, even though I just watched Daiquiri or Mimosa from Iconic London, which is very similar, but I'm gonna keep that for now. It might end up in my Makeup Memories. This is like before I had a channel type of blush, like over 10 years ago. Next, It Cosmetics. This is a good blush, guys. Don't sleep on it. It's massive. They could have given us something smaller, but you know, I guess it is what it is. This blush is really pretty though. It's the Sun Blush in the shade Sun Warmth, and I love the tone of it. And it's like the perfect amount of pigmentation, and it comes across a little liquidy, like a little goes a long way, but then it really dries down nicely and it shears out nicely. It's just a beautiful formula, at least this color. So I love this. I bought this myself. Really, really into that blush. And last for eyes, I have some Item Beauty blushes. These I'm gonna get rid of because Item Beauty is no longer around. It's Addison Rae's brand. Oh, that one's not swatched. These are both not swatched. I must have got these from like Ipsy or something on sale. I think I'm gonna let go, even though these were really great blushes at the time. I was kind of late to the train on these ones, so it was like by the time I got them, it was because they were on sale and that type of stuff, and they're getting discontinued, which is just, you know, I'm trying to change that, especially as like a reviewer. I like letting you know what's worth it. That way you guys can catch it when it's on sale and get those deals, and you already know it's good. Like, as part of reviewing instead of waiting too long to try something. So anyway, those are gonna go. We're on to J's though, you guys, and we have some Jane Iredale here. These were sent to me, and these are 2 blushes. I think they came out with like a spring collection. This one's the shade Flourish, which super soft. It almost feels like the Illamasqua one, but lighter in pigmentation, as you can see. That one's Flourish, and then this one's Velvet Petal, which is pretty. I might keep Velvet Petal, just way more my color, and get rid of this peachy one. It's one of those really creamy, blendable matte formulas. I honestly feel like in some ways, if you want to save some money, similar to the Catrice ones, like that kind of feel to it, but pretty nonetheless. So I'm going to keep that one for now, Velvet Petal. Next, I have some Jones Road stuff. This was all sent to me. I think almost everything I have that's Jones Road has been sent to me. And I have a lot of different forms here of like blush type products. So let's start off with the stick. This is the color Mauve Rose. It's a more glassy, moisturizing cream blush formula. Beautiful color, a nice like translucent kind of finish on it. I think I might get rid of that one though, just because it's not, I don't feel like it's really for my skin type. Kind of similar to these Miracle Balms. This one is the shade Sunset. Let me see. Miami Beach. I mean, it's first off huge. And again, I think if you have dry skin, these can definitely work for people, but it's not my skin type at all because it's more like a Vaseline. So that is gonna go. I just don't think I need it hanging around. I also have a mini of the shade Pinky Bronze, which let me even just get in there. It's like not even touched. I mean, it's pretty in that, you know, it gives you like a glassy sheen, but it's just not for my skin type. Like on my skin, this feels so heavy. My skin will naturally get this kind of a sheen from my oil. So I'm going to get rid of those. I don't know why I want to keep them, but I'm going to get rid of them. And then I have 2 powder blushes, which honestly, considering how much of the Miracle Balm you get, this is so tiny. These are like the size of their eyeshadows, I want to say. 2.5 grams, okay? Half of the House Labs. They're just so small, but I guess good for travel if you're, you know, just want a small makeup bag. This is the shade. Where is it? I think it's called Pop. I think that's the shade name of this one. It's a pretty kind of pink, but it's not overly baby pink, like light like that. And then the other shade I have here is Sandy, which is a little more neutral. I'm trying to get you a good swatch. So I'm gonna keep Sandy for sure. I don't know if I need to keep Pop. I think I'm gonna let that one go. So I'm just gonna keep the one blush. Next from Jouer, I have this little stick blush. I wanna say, I don't know if this is the regular size, but I bought this on their website, I think, or maybe it was a free gift with purchase from the website from things that I had purchased. This is the shade Peony, and I think it's one of the prettiest hot pink cream blushes. It has a sheen to it. I think the color and amount is just really pretty. It kind of gives that powdered look in a way. I don't know. I'm keeping that. I really quite like it. And honestly, I just appreciate this formula. Like this gives a sheen, but it's still like a cream blush that works for my skin type. Like it's not overly glowy in the formula, but still creamy, still blendable, easy to work with, you know, just not like glassy glossy. And last for J's, I have Judy Doll here. This is like a terracotta blush. I think I don't know when I got this. It's an absolutely beautiful color. It's the shade 34. I can see myself really liking it. It is matte though. I have a lot of shades like this. I think this is one I'm gonna pass on. We're moving on to K's, and this first one here is from Kaja. It's a duo, but it's so compact, and it's funny because when I first got this, I wasn't the biggest fan, but I kept it around to make it work, and I've since made it work, but now I just don't use it as much, even though it's pretty. Okay, why does swatching it maybe I shouldn't do these swatch videos because I swear I'm like, actually, wait, I like that. It's a little bit of a stickier formula, but the pigmentation is still there enough. It's a little bit on the sheer side, but you know, it's still there enough. I don't know. What do I do, guys? What do I do? I think it's time. I think it's time these go. That's gonna go. From Kaja, we are now going to Kaleidos, and you know, I'm gonna be ruthless, I think, because I think these are pretty blushes, but a lot of the colors don't work for me, and I've kept a lot around for like swatching, but I feel like Kaleidos has just slowed down on the releases a little, at least makeup wise. I know they've done some hair stuff, some dyes, and just different launches, and I still am excited for when they post and all that, but I think I can get rid of some stuff. So first here, this is the shade Pearl Bliss, which is like, you know, almost like a bronzer, like a rosy bronzer. This pink one is called Pale Rose. It's kind of hard to see. Another kind of contour color. This one is called Hotspot. And last, I mean, look at these colors. They're pretty light. They're pretty light overall. That one's called Angel's Wing. They do kind of like almost develop a little, like, I don't know. They show up a little bit more on the skin than you'd kind of expect. Like when I add it, it looks light, but then it kind of like, I don't know, turns less pastel. I think I'm kind of tempted to keep this first one just because, I don't know, there's something about it kind of got me in the swatch, but I think the other three are gonna go. I think they're all gonna go. I'm gonna just keep the one. And sometimes when you get like the full collection, again, so grateful to get PR and all that. I love being able to swatch everything for you guys and whatnot, but it can be overwhelming with all the choices. Which one do you use? All that. So sometimes it's nice to just have the one, single it out a little and be able to use it a bit more. So anyway, these ones are from the first collection. I think it's Smoky Nostalgia if I'm not mistaken, but they're all still available, and I don't have the color names though, so I'm just gonna swatch them. There was this really pretty red, which I still think is beautiful, and these all have a beautiful formula. My arm's a little wet still, so I feel like that swatch didn't really blend out as well, but it is like this very powdery but blendable formula. I think out of these, I'm going to keep this one because to me, it's like the actual good version of the Dior Rosy Glow. It's that kind of a pink. So I'm going to keep that one. And honestly, I feel like I can get rid of the rest. Like this peachy pink one, I'm kind of tempted, but I think they can go. I think I'm ready to pass them on. So those are gonna go. Kind of sad, but also I think it will feel great looking at my collection and not just seeing like rows of Kaleidos that I feel like I'm not necessarily putting in my rotation as often, but just kind of keeping as potentials for swatching next to other shades. Like hopefully these swatches are enough for people, you know? So down to just 2 Kaleidos. I told y'all I was gonna try to be ruthless. I feel like that felt ruthless. I think next is this one from Keradium. This is the Bling Fit in the shade Salmon Dia. It's really pretty, and I used to be so much more into peachy blushes, but I don't know if I am. I love the sheen on it. It is a little bit of that golden flip, but because it's peach, it's not so stark, but I think I'm gonna pass that on. I don't wear peach as much. I have a blush here from the Alicia Keys brand. This is in the shade Liberation, and it looks pretty dark, but it isn't as pigmented as you'd expect. Like once you blend it out, it's a really pretty color. I just feel like I probably have something like this in Phytosurgeon, so I just don't feel the need to keep this one, even though it's nice. And to be honest, that's a lot of it. I feel like makeup overall is decently good nowadays. Like, of course, there are some bad ones here and there, but a lot of makeup is at least decent. So I feel like to really curate a collection, you have to be kind of picky. Next from Kyer Weiss, I think that's how you say it. This was a deluxe sample I got in an advent calendar last year when I opened all those. And you know, I do want to give this a bit more of a try. I think the color, I don't know if I'd pick this color out because it's a little on the peachy pink side. It's called Blossoming, but I know this brand is very expensive and I'd love to see if maybe the formula works for me because it has a nice sheen, but it has a nice even pigment. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that. This one's from Clavu. This is one I got off of Yes Style, and it's the shade Champagne Nude. It's kind of peachy, but also a little bit more on the neutral side. I'm trying to find a place where my hand isn't wet. I think this is really pretty. I think I'm gonna keep this one. Although it's a little peach, it still has enough to kind of ground it, and it's a little bit on the muted side, so I'm gonna keep that. It also has a little bit of a sheen to it, but not too much. Nothing that's gonna like highlight texture in like a highlighter way, so I'm gonna keep that one. And last for K's, I did buy a few of the Kosas baked blushes. I was so excited for these blushes. I've been waiting for them since they've been teasing them. So these are baked, they're marbled, they're really quite pretty. I have really been enjoying them. Maybe my expectations were a little high. I don't know what I expected, but this is Dreamland. It has a sheen to it, and I find the sheen in these to be almost kind of silvery, and they are strong without being highly metallic, if that makes sense. Like the sheen is definitely there. I do see it when I'm like, you know, have it on my cheeks. It almost looks like a cool, not silver, but like a frostiness comes through, That's how the shine comes through to me. But I have enjoyed them, especially topped over a cream blush. This pink one's called Butterflies. That one's really pretty. I like that hot pink blush. And then last here is Swoon, which has a little bit more berry to it. So I'm gonna keep all those. They just came out and I have been enjoying these. We're on to L's. I have some Laura Geller blushes here. These were like the original Kosas. It's funny that they're back to back actually. But these were like the original baked marble blushes, I feel like. And you know, they're good. I have two different ones here. That one's pretty. Even this one, I mean, they're stunning. I think baked products just literally hit different. But anyway, this is Down to Earth is the mauve one, and then the other one's called Apricot Berry. I'm kind of tempted by this one to keep, so I think I am gonna keep that one, but I'm gonna get rid of the berry one just because, I don't know, it does feel like fall, doesn't it? It does really feel like, I'm gonna keep them both. Wow. I was not expecting. I really thought I'd get rid of both maybe because I have the Kosas, you know, but there's something about them. I need a refresher, you know what I mean, on these colors specifically, on like what I want to do. So I'm going to keep them for now. I have a few blushes from Laura Mercier. I really want the shade Fresco. It's one of those like very neutral, beigey kind of blushes, but these are all very bright. I have 3 different ones. I got these on an amazing deal, and I think the only one I'm going to keep is Grapefruit. It's kind of this reddy color. It's really beautiful, and I feel like it sheers out beautifully. And these red blushes, I know they can be a little scary depending on your skin tone. Like for me, they're very bright compared to my skin, but if they're done in a way where the formula can blend out nicely, I think they can be beautiful. So I'm going to keep Grapefruit. These other two have more of like a pinky, almost like cool tone to them, and I just usually don't love that as much on me overall. So the pink one is Pomegranate, and then this kind of purpley one is Cure Royale. So those are both gonna go. Here they are actually in frame, but both those are gonna go. I think next on my list is Lawless. So I have a bunch of the new cream blushes. We'll tackle those in a second, but I do have one of the powder blushes. This was sent to me. Most of the Lawless stuff I have has been sent to me, but this is the color, I think Watermelon. Yeah, and it's a pretty pink. Another one that kind of follows that hot pink trend, but this one is more of a warm pink, so it doesn't go too cool and it's not too light as well. So it's a little bit just warmer, and I feel like it works nicely. So I'm gonna keep this one for now. As for the cream blushes, I have these all swatched on my cheeks in that blush video, so check it out. Definitely check that out. This blush formula is interesting. It's creamy, but again, kind of has that smooth, primery feel to it. This is Starburst. I think that one I can pass on just because it's so orange. This pink was actually really pretty on, so potentially a good one if you like these baby pinks. This one's called Gumdrop. I think I can also get rid of it though, just because I have a lot of baby pinks going on, and I tend to go more for this type of stuff. There are 2 really pretty neutral colors out of the line. This one's Angel. I think this one is the warmer one out of the 2. Just stunning. Definitely want to keep that. And then this one's kind of the rose, like cooler one, and it's called Rosebud. You can see they're definitely similar, but depending on if you want something leaning more warm or a little bit more cool, I think that's how you'd pick which one you want. Keeping that one. And the last 2 are a little bit brighter, which again, really pretty, and I feel like the formulas make them very wearable, you know, and easy to use. But I feel like the red is a little bit more on the pink side. That one's Cherry Pie at the bottom, and then the other one is called Valentine. I just think I can pass them on, to be honest. So I'm trying to be good. I want to get more acquainted with the formula, but I'm going to do that with the 2 that are a little safer for me. I think next would be Lethal Cosmetics. I have some of the kind of loose pans from the collaboration with Teresa is Dead, and they sent this to me, which is so nice. I really do love that mauve blush shade. So pretty. The pearl in it is literally perfect. There's this really fun, this is such a wild color, the purple blush shade, and then a really fun highlighter as well with lots of sparkle, very Teresa. And I'm tempted to keep this one because I'm telling you this blush is stunning. But, well, first I should say, like, don't mind the disgusting packaging, holy crap. But I'm not really using palettes like this or like single pan stuff as much right now. So I think I can pass these on, even though I want to keep it. I just don't know if it's actually going to get the use, even if I think it would. So yeah, beautiful, but I'm gonna let those go. Next, I have some stuff from LH Cosmetics. These are blush duos, and I think the formula on these are really great. This one is the kind of coral one, and this duo is called Zone. Really pretty. They have the subtlest sheen to them, which is really my preference if you cannot tell. Then they have kind of a berry one. That one's called Element. And then last here, this is a very interesting color. This is the shade Area, and it's kind of these cooler mauves. I used to really like these kind of shades, but I don't know if they're quite for me anymore. They kind of look a little bruisey sometimes. So I think I'm going to pass all of them on. I think they're all going to go, but I think they're beautiful. It's just not quite the color combos for me for every day. I don't know. There's something right now that's just not working with the colors, but formula is amazing. I really love that tiny bit of pearlescence. I have this cute little heart blush from Nuuly by Red, and this, let me get it open. I want to hurt my nails, which these are Glamnetic. I love this kind of color, and it's like perfect for, you know, Brat. I feel like it's the Brat color, and they're like a shorter one. So they're not the short almond, they're the short oval, and I like these when I really don't want to worry about my nails popping off, but some of these blushes are really trying to get me. All right, I did it. My gosh. Okay, let's get this swatched. It's a pretty color. I feel like we've seen this color 800 times. Formula is really nice, not too glossy. It's a shade 03. I don't know what to do with this one. I think I'm gonna put it in the maybe pile. That's where it's gonna go, because it's a pretty formula. From Lottie London, another one of those black blushes. This one also turns kind of that berry. So if you weren't wanting the Anna Sui one, but you like the actual idea of the blush, then this might be for you. But I like the packaging of the Anna Sui. That's what gets me. And then it's fun and novel that it's black and turns pink. But I think I'm gonna pass this one on, but nice affordable option. Last for L's, I have LYS here, and I have this cream blush in a compact. This I think I got through a BoxyCharm, and it's pretty. It's just it's a little bright for me. I'm trying to be realistic, and I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna be the one, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna pass that on. But I absolutely love these sticks. You guys know that. I love the shade Curvy. This is my favorite one. It is so good. Get the tiniest swatch. These are highlighting blushes, but cream form. And these are pretty high pigment as well, but you can blend them out and then you get a nice, just good shimmer and shine from it. I love it. So Curvy, I'm obsessed with. Keeping that. Then I bought the shade Bubbly afterward because I loved Curvy so much. And, you know, there's something about the shade, it doesn't hit the same. It's not the same thing. So I actually think I might pass that one on. I know. But if I'm being realistic, it's true. Why would I wait? Why wait 6 months, a year to pass it on when it's the freshest now? So I'm actually going to pass it on now. I'm doing incredibly well, you guys. I'm so excited for my blush drawers to be like under control, because my goodness, it was like exploding, and I just don't have the space for that much. And trust me, I've expanded my space too much. All right, we're on to M's, and we're getting a little technical here. I think I'm correct though. Makeup Forever, I think, is next. And next will be Makeup by Mario, but Makeup by Mario, I think, is all one word. Like makeup is one word. Okay, anyway, it doesn't really matter. Makeup Forever though, I have some stuff here. These were all sent to me, and I have this blush palette. If you guys watched my try on, then you know. This one surprised me. Like, I don't know, I thought it was gonna be a little too sheer in a way and kind of like glossy in a bad way, but it looked really great. Like the colors of these blushes looked amazing. And if you're interested in like a very natural cheek look, I thought this was really great. That being said, am I going to use this whole blush palette? I don't know. I feel like it could be good for travel. Some really pretty blush colors in there. There's also a whole side of like kind of contouring type powders in here. Not powders, creams, you know what I meant, which I think is kind of fun, but you know, there's a lot of different things in here. You really could, I feel like, use this to create whatever look you wanted and mix and match and create custom colors and all that. So I think it's really fun. Part of me wants to keep it. Part of me is questioning how much I personally am going to use this, but I don't know. I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to keep it for now. Maybe it's in the maybe pile, but for now, for this moment, it is compact. These are kind of expensive. I think they're best for like makeup artists, or maybe you want to have like a one and done palette, because you really could do your blush, bronzer, foundation, concealer, contour, even lip products with this, you know, like most of your face. So I don't know. I'm going to keep it for now. I honestly think I have a soft spot for Makeup Forever because I had them in my kit when I was a makeup artist, and I don't know. I think it's cool. I get PR are, I don't know, there's something about them that I hold them in high regard when it comes to having them in my collection, but I think I'm going to be pretty realistic about these blushes in the single form. They did more recently I don't know if it's formulate or just like repackage these blushes, but I have the shade Anywhere Peach, that's the lightest color. Wherever Rose is in the middle, and the last shade here is Limitless Berry. So pretty colors, but I think these can all go. They're all matte. I wish they had a little sheen to them, and I don't know, there's something about the packaging. You can depot the pans, but then they kind of wiggle around. I don't know. These are gonna go. Now we have Makeup by Mario though. I have a couple different of the blush formulas. So these are the plumping blushes, moisturizing blushes, Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils. Okay, this is the shade Rose Crush, really pretty. It is a more moisturizing formula, but it's one, I don't know, I do think is really quite pretty on the cheeks. The lighter shade I have here, this one is called Barely Blushing, so I'm definitely going to keep both of those. I know there are some brighter colors that just came out, but I think these are more me, even if those sell the Summer Fantasy for sure. And then the other ones I have here, he expanded the stick line. So this one is Watermelon. I bought this one myself, and I've tried it a few times. I definitely need to keep getting my thoughts, but a little bit brighter on that one. And then I actually was sent the Watermelon, so I bought it before I was sent it. But that sometimes just happens. But this one, Soft Peach, was also sent in that package. So I'm not sure if this is a new shade, but I did want to try this one just because it's a little bit more everyday than the Watermelon, even if it is kind of a peachy shade. So I'm going to keep both of those for now. I tend to really like the Makeup by Mario stuff and line. I think it's a really solid line at Sephora. Oh, I think before all those I should have done MAC, but I didn't. Okay, I have MAC here. This is the Warm Soul blush. I think it's the mineralized blush. This was like the color back in the day, and I believe they did change the formula of this. So I don't think it's the same as like the old one. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about, but I don't know. There's something about this one. It has a golden sheen to it. I haven't been loving it, and I don't think I ever had this moment with it. So I don't know. Maybe I should have got the old one. I don't know, maybe a different color from the baked mineralized line would be for me, because I do, again, like the formula, I like the sheen, all that. It's just this color, I don't know why. You would think I would. I think I've swatched some things that I'm like, oh, you know, that are similar to this, but I've never had that magic on my cheeks like after applying it. I can't in this moment remember thinking that, so I'm just gonna let go of it. I know, weird. I'm gonna let go of it. I think getting back on track now though, I have some Melt Cream blushes. These are all very similar in tone. I'm kind of shocked. I got these on a Black Friday deal, so definitely saved a lot of money. But what do I actually want to keep? Let's see. This is like a really pretty shimmery peach. I do like that because I love the sheen on it. It's in the shade Golden Hour. I just wish we could get that shimmery formula in a couple other colors, because like I said, there's something about the color selection. I don't have every cream blush from them, but I'm telling you, they all feel kind of similar. This pink is called Pinched. Next, this one, which is different than the last one I just swatched. I know it's hard to tell, but it is. This one is called Pink Sand, a little more sheer. And then this one's called Honey Thief. Like, you know what I'm saying about the selection here? I don't know. It's just, they're all very similar. So I honestly think I'm just going to get rid of all of them. I'm tempted to keep Golden Hour, but I've said about 800 times, you know, am I wearing the peachy shades? I don't know. That one's sheer. It's beautiful. Do not get me wrong, but I'm gonna let them all go. I feel like that one's a little bit of proof, like just because something's on sale, you know, you can get a lot of it, or maybe you saved some money, you got a deal, but sometimes it's better just to save up a little bit more and get one item that works for you, that you really want, the color's right, you're not just getting the sale selection. So yeah, those had to go, but now we have Merit. These have all been sent to me. These are their blush, flush balms, I guess is what they're called. I need to just take a lot more time with these. These were all kind of sent to me at a similar time, so I feel like it's been difficult to kind of, I don't know, get my thoughts on them, but I have Persimmon here. I think I'm going to keep all the colors just to see how they work on my skin, because Some are a little more sheer and they do have a bit more of that glossy formula, and I just want to see how they actually look on my cheeks. This one's called Beverly Hills. I feel like in theory you can just like put these on your cheeks from the container, but I just know that would move all my makeup around. This one's Rouge. This pink one's called Stockholm. And then last, I really like this color. This one's called Fox. So those are all the Merit blushes that I have. And yeah, I definitely want to get some thoughts on them so that way I can kind of either keep a couple colors I do really like, or if the formula is not quite for me, I can kind of figure that out and, you know, pass on what doesn't work. I found one more Merit blush actually, so sorry it's not with the rest. This is like a berry purple. Oh no, I've done so great. Well, that immediately messed up the table. That one's called Raspberry Beret. I believe next would be Milani. So I have a few different formulas here. The baked blushes, another kind of OG in the baked blush world, at least to me. And this is another one where I feel like the colors are so similar. Okay, this is Berry Amore. Not very berry. If you ask me, not very berry. Then we have Rose d'Oro. Okay, a little more orangey, but what the heck's very similar. And then the all-time fan fave, Luminoso, which looking at it now, I'm like, I don't know if it's really for me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this berry one, Berry Amore. I'm gonna pass on the other ones. Not that the formula is not good, I just feel like color-wise, they're so similar if I'm going to reach for a Milani blush, you know? So I'm going to keep Berry Amore. This cream blush, though, is actually a really great one. It's the Cheek Kiss in the shade Nude Kiss, and I like this formula a lot. It has some nice pigmentation to it, not too glossy, doesn't like move around on the cheeks. Really pretty color, you know? I like that one. I'm definitely keeping that. I have some Milk makeup items. Now, these stain, so I gotta be careful with these, what did they call them? I don't know, the jelly blushes. You know the ones. They were all the rage. I have a short on YouTube and on Instagram kind of showing them off and swatching them. So I guess I'll do it here on the other arm. Can you see this? Okay, that one's the shade Splash. It's really pretty, kind of a pinky color. This color is very similar. It's a little warmer though. So Burst is a little warmer than Splash. I like Burst. I think the one I've used the most is this one, Chill. I think that one's really pretty. These are kind of tricky to work with. They're definitely novel because they have that jelly blush texture, but I have made them work, you know. It's just, I do think you have to be up for a bit more of a challenge. So there are some swatches of them. Right now, I think I'm just gonna keep them all. These were sent to me, and I feel like they're such a hot product this year that I wanna have them in my collection still, so I'm keeping all of those. Let's see how that stain goes. I feel like you have a little bit of room to work getting them off, but when it comes to like blending them out, they definitely dry down very fast. Like, unless you're like completely removing them, they are gonna stain pretty fast. This other Milk makeup blush though that I have is called Work, and you know, I think this is pretty. I kind of want to keep it just because it's an everyday kind of color and see how I like it. This is their full size now, which this is the same size as the new Road blushes, although the Road blushes look bigger. I believe it's the same product size. Oh, it's actually less. This is 5.3 and this is 6 grams. So anyway, just thought I would show them. We'll get to the Road blushes, don't worry. But this is like a cream that's just kind of in the middle, you know? I feel like their stick cream products were really popular back in the day, and I get why they made them smaller, although it still kind of hurts a little. But I'm gonna keep Work for a little bit longer. Last couple of M's here. I have a Mob Beauty blush. Really love this. I love the color. I just love so much about it. I have the container for it, but it always goes up. Like, I can click it down, but the magnet is like strong enough to pull it off, which is just effing annoying, let me tell you. So I really hate that. If you've had that problem, let me know, or if you know if they've changed it, but I just hate that, I gotta say. Anyway, color, so pretty. This is the shade M72, and I really like this. It almost feels like a clay blush, but it also is kind of blurring. It goes on beautifully with a brush. I just think this tone is really pretty on me. I feel like in the camera it doesn't look that, you know, vibrant, but I feel like on my cheeks it gives me a nice amount of like flush. That's really pretty. So love this, definitely keeping. And then last but certainly not least, I have a bunch of these Moira blushes. These actually aren't last, but we'll do them and then we'll do the Morphe blush I have. But I have a lot of colors of these. Look, I mean, even some of these look very similar, and it's another one where love the formula. I think it's really nice, really pretty. It reminds me of the Tower 28. I feel like it's a dupe for that, but this many, I don't think I need this many. It's too many. It's hard to pick the color I actually want. So this is the shade I Want You. I think that one's gonna go. I actually really love this. I know it's kind of bright, but I think it looks really pretty on. When you use just a little bit, you only need a little. That one's I Adore You, so I'm gonna keep that. This is the shade I Have You, which is really beautiful. I like that one. This next one's I Trust You. Pretty, but I think I can let it go. I Respect You is one I use quite a bit, so I'm keeping that one. I Need You is beautiful, but I think I can let that go. I feel like I have that color a lot. And then this Berry is beautiful, and that one is called I Like You, but again, I think I can let it go. So I'm gonna just keep 3 out of the 7 or whatever I had here. Again, great formula. Definitely one to check out if you want to save some money on the Tower 28. Although I feel like Tower 28 is relatively, it's still expensive, but I just mean for Sephora and some of those higher end brands, you know, they keep their price point a little bit lower. That being said, these are like I want to say $7, $8, so definitely even cheaper, but I'm gonna get rid of 4. That's really what I need to say. Okay, and the Morphe blush that I almost forgot, this is one of the new ones, and I think I'm gonna keep it around, although I think it's pretty. It's kind of expensive though. I think these are like $15, $16 a piece. The shade I have is Hypnotized. I think I'm gonna keep it a little longer though, because it's a pretty color. I'm actually surprised with the formula that it kind of works for me, even though it does have almost like a clear ring of like just, I don't know, jelly, I guess. In a way, cream in a way, but I'm gonna keep it for now. All right, we're on to ends, and I have some NARS here. So this is the new packaging. It's like more squared off, and the old packaging is a little more rounded. They both have that kind of soft touch feel though. Anyway, for blush, I have Dolce Vita. This is, again, newer. I just bought this because they reformulated, so I was like, let me try it out. I think it's nice. It is matte, but it's a pretty color, so I'm gonna keep that for now. The other ones that I have here, this I love. I'm definitely gonna keep this. This is Illicit, which kind of looks like a bronzer next to everything, but it's one of those just bronzy blushes, really pretty. And even though it's in the older packaging, and I don't know if that color is still around, I wanna keep it. And then this other one I think is, yeah, Orgasm, the classic Orgasm. And you know, I never really was an Orgasm girl. It wasn't a blush that I ever really connected to. Like, it's not, I know it's been around, it's, you know, it's well loved, but I'm gonna get rid of that. It also has that golden flip, which I'm just like, I don't know, I just don't feel nowadays. I have some Natasha Denona palettes here. So this is the Bloom palette. This is the oldest one here, and I loved this. I almost feel like this is getting to the point where I'm like, am I grossed out to use it? Kind of. Am I gonna regret getting rid of it? I don't know. I used that shade a ton, and then I would pair it with the other colors. I mean, that is a beautiful, highly metallic, holy crap, super shiny shade. I don't think I'm ready to let go of it, but I definitely feel like it's looking a little nasty. It's feeling a little nasty, you know? It's one of those, but I'm not there yet, so it's gonna stick around. I do have the cheek trio that came out earlier this year, Berry Pop, and let me get you some swatches, because this is a newer pickup for me. I was like, you know, I wanna know how these are. So very similar, okay, to Bloom. Look at that. So similar, different formula though, because this is definitely more like primery. That felt more creamy. And we have a highlighter. There's also a shimmery cream blush in here, so very pretty. But if you've really loved this, I mean, the Berry Pop trio has you. And I guess I'll just swatch the Mini Dream. This is like a palette in a mini. Like, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting combination, but a little bit more neutral than the other blushes here. We have a highlighter, a blush, and another blush, so keeping that as well. All right, let's talk about Neen. Let's talk about it. I've bought some stuff myself. I was like pretty interested and just kind of wanted to get a feel for it. They kind of have an interesting marketing idea. Their compacts are like silicone, so you can't break them, you can't shatter your makeup. That's kind of the big thing, but let me tell you, I don't think it's working, guys. Like, you can just, it's messy, it's kind of gross, like reinventing a wheel that doesn't need to be reinvented, if you're asking me. Like, anyway, some of the cream products I have here, I have the shade Fling, pretty high pigment, a little bit more of like not sticky, but kind of, you know, Neen is started by the original founder, I believe, of Stila. So think convertible colors. Like that's what these remind me of. I'm gonna keep this color. I mean, I don't know, maybe let me know. I kind of want to keep these for a review of some sort, but the duo, okay, first off, the duos don't even fit in the I think don't do the duos. These are like lip gloss, but you could also use them, I think, on the cheek. I don't know. I was literally like, okay, show me what you got. And I'm like, sorry that I let them show me what they got. Because who wants a potted lip gloss like this? Like this is like the stickiest, gloopiest lip gloss. Yeah, they're creamy glosses, so they shouldn't be in here. They should be in the lip product, but they're bad. I might save these more for like fails video or something like that. And if you see some of the things I've decluttered that I don't like, maybe they'll end up there too, but yeah, I mean, pretty colors, but I really hate the packaging. I hate that it gets so dirty, and they come separated, so you have to put them together yourself. You have to like put the sticker on the back and all this stuff, which is fine, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. If you've been seeing ads, I feel like I've been seeing more ads than ever before. I'm not sure about it, okay? We are on the last N, so I feel like we're like, is N halfway through the alphabet? I don't know. In my head, N is like the halfway point, but these are the NYX Buttermelt blushes. I have 3 different shades. I tried these on in that blush try-on too, so check that out. But really, these are all very similar colors to each other, but just like gradients, just with what they happen to have. Like they were sold out of everything at the Ulta I was at. So this is Butter Together. That one I think is so pretty. Then we have Getting Butter. It always makes me laugh when I have to say these names. Okay, and then the other kind of berry, Butter with Time. And I think the only one I'm going to keep is the first one, just because, again, very easy. These are so pigmented, but I just think they're better for deeper skin tones than me, just because I don't want to worry about how much I'm adding. I can make them work, don't get me wrong, but I just think for ease, I'm going to keep the Butter Together. I really do think that was a great blush launch, though. All right, we are on to O's, and I only have Odin's Eye in here, so I have all the blushes except for one of the new ones because it came broken. I don't even know the shade because it literally got all over my stuff. It was so annoying. I can't lie. But I thought I would swatch them all here. I do have a code with Odin's Eye. I'm affiliated. These were sent to me. I'm trying to think like, wait, do I have other codes that I haven't mentioned? But they'll all be down below. You can check the description box if you're ever wondering what codes I have where. But let's swatch some of these blushes. You will see that these have a very similar color to them all. They're very warm. This is a very peachy orange one called Warm Sun, and that's a matte formulation. This one's shimmery, very pretty. That one's Sienna Luster. Then this one is called Peach Gleam, which had like an overspray on it, but it's, I would say, overall matte. Really great formula, super blendable. It's more the colors to me that, you know, are just a little different for me. Another peachy color. I want to say these all came out in the same collection, so it's just a lot of similar tones here. This one's called Orange Sunny. This one's a little bit different. This might be one of the new ones, which it is way harder than the other blushes were. Those were a little more powdery. This is like kind of tough, but that one's called Pink Bloom. I think this one was the old one. Yeah, very soft, a little more powdery on that. That pink one is called Sunset Clouds. This one I think also came out last time, like the last collection, not the newer one. It's a more shimmery pink. That one's Rosette Love. And then I think the last one here, I think the newer collection, and it's like a rose pink. That one's called Lilac Mist. I don't really get the name. But those are the Odin's Eye blushes. I mean, you know, we have a few more other colors than the warm ones because I'm telling you that's all we got initially. I'm going to keep a couple of these. I do like the packaging, and I'm hoping again when I get rid of some, it'll leave me open to liking more. Even though Lilac Mist is new, I just don't know if it's a color for me, so I'm going to pass that on. I want to keep this one. I think that one's pretty, like a dusty rose. I'm going to keep the light pink color for now, the shimmer. Peach Gleam is also pretty. It is pretty. Okay, what am I doing? Warm Sun can go. Orange Sunny can go. I even feel like Sienna Luster can go. I thought I was gonna keep that, but I'm gonna keep Sunset Cloud, the other kind of pink one, just to see, you know, how much I wear it. And I'm keeping Peach Gleam, which is this one here. So I'm gonna keep 4, and I'm gonna declutter 4. We are officially in the P's, and I have Pat McGrath to kick it off. I have a palette here, which pretty sure I'm gonna get rid of. It's beautiful. There is nothing wrong with these blushes, this highlighter. They're beautiful powders. I don't know what it is about the blushes from Pat McGrath that have been, for some reason, difficult for me. It's bizarre. And then the highlighter's a little deep. So I just think I can pass it on. Someone else can get some love. This is the thing. Like, I really try, especially around holiday, because that's where this is from, to try. It's difficult because there's so many blush palettes coming out. They're so pretty. They're so timely, all this stuff. But, you know, are you going to use it? Do they all work for you? Because when you're buying them in a palette, you can't pick. Like, some might be perfect. Some might not suit you at all. Some might not be your style. So anyway, I'm going to pass it on. Lots of life left in this. The other blushes that I have, these are the singles, and I'm going to keep this one. It's called Flirtatious. Yeah, Flirtatious. It is a pretty color. Maybe I'll do it up here. Oh, you won't see it. I need my inside wrist. Okay, this is Flirtatious. Very easy, and I've worn it. Like, you can tell it's been used, but I definitely need to revisit. I need to revisit that color, so I'm keeping that. The Duo, on the other hand, I was so excited for this, and I didn't get on with the Duo, so I'm gonna pass that on. And that was in the shade Paradise Glow. Now we have Patrick Ta, and we'll start with another blush palette. This one's an unfortunate moment because if it weren't for these shades, I would probably get rid of it because as blushes, you know, the creams back here are a little, I don't know. This one's more pigmented, obviously, so that's nice, but there was just something about this blush palette. I mean, this was when Baby Pink was having, I feel like, even more of a moment at the time, so I think it was a good launch. It sold out like immediately, but I don't think it's worth it for the blushes. What I'm like begging Patrick Ta to come out with are these in singles. Like, please be working on that. I hope to goodness he's working on that behind the scenes. This color, if I could wear this on my eyes every day, I would. The most stunning reflective wet shine shade in my, like, I'm obsessed. Urban Decay Moonda Shadow in Space Cowboy Who. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how good it is. I'll swatch all of them since we're here. But I mostly use that one. The other ones are nice too, but they're not like his shimmery shades in the palette, you know, like the eyeshadow palettes. These are way more creamy, especially this one's so creamy, so amazing. Like, I hope so badly this becomes a freaking single because I want it in a single. But because of this quad, I will be keeping it. I will be keeping this. Continuing on with Patrick Ta, though, I have a bunch of the duos, and I also have some of the older, like, single blushes that he's done. So I think these I'm ready to let go of. I don't even know if these are still, like, available on his site or like as blushes because I know the duos are so popular. They're just powder. The peach one's called She's Adorable, and the mauve one is called She's Seductive. They're pretty, they're fine, but I just know I'm ready. As for the duos, I have all three of the new ones that came out this spring. I was really excited for those. So I have the peach one here. That one's called She's the Moment. My favorite one, I think, out of all three is this neutral one, of course, naturally. I felt like it was also, sometimes the Patrick Ta blushes can be like just a little more pigmented than you expect, and I felt like this one had a nice color pigmentation for every day. That one's called Not Too Much. What a good name. And then the fun kind of pink one, this one is called Just Enough, and I thought this was actually a pretty pink. Like, for all the baby pinks out there, you've seen a lot of them just in this video alone, but I'm gonna keep that. I thought that one was pretty good. And then the duo that I had before that, this one's called She's Blushing, which is another really beautiful one, but you can see it's a little bit deeper than the Just Enough or whatever it is, or Just Right, or Not Too Much. Okay, so She's Blushing, Not Too Much. I feel like they're very similar colors, but this is like the lighter everyday version. Sometimes this one can be a lot if I'm not careful, but really beautiful. I'm gonna keep all of those. Next, I have some Persona products. I have the powder blushes, but I also have the cream sticks, which are like my favorite. In the powder form though, we have Bubble. Let's see, my hand is not very dry. All right, here is Bubble. This is like that hot pink, man, super hot pink. This one is, what is it, Terracotta? Yeah, that's Terracotta, which is kind of like a bronzer. Then we have Jam. And then last here is Caramel, which I think, I don't know. I think that's the one I want to keep. I love the cream blushes. Those are my favorite. But out of the powders, this is the one I'm going to keep. It kind of reminds me of that Teresa's Dead shade as well. And I'm going to pass on these because I have these colors in the cream form and I feel like I would choose those over these. Okay, I have a ton of I think I have every shade. Okay, I have every shade, even the limited edition one. These are just some of my favorite cream blushes. I think they're so pretty, really creamy, super easy to blend, still pigmented, some fun color selections. So let me go over what I have. I don't know why we're starting off with Bloom because this was the collab one, but that's it. It's like a peachy pink. It has a little bit more of a white base, and some of these have a little bit more of that like opaque white base on them, and then some of them are a little bit more almost kind of translucent, but Bloom and also Bubble have more of that opaque base. Next is the shade Kiss. Really fun red. This is a new one. They finally made Carmel a blush stick. I've really been enjoying this. I've been using this one and Georgia. I think they're both quite pretty. Georgia has a little bit more of that white base on it too. So it's more orange than Bloom as well, if you wanted a comparison there. You guys already know though, Teddy is the shade that I'm like obsessed with. Again, looks kind of bronzy, but just the perfect amount of like blushing color on the cheeks for something neutral. Then we have Jam. This is a fun color one, and it doesn't have an opaque base. It's more translucent on that one. And then last here, this is Guava. This came out last summer, and it's another one of my absolute favorites. It just has that little bit of like a bronzy touch to it that I think is stunning and beautiful. So those are all the Persona Dream Sticks. I think these are all the ones that have ever been made, and I love them. I think they're so fun. I'm gonna keep all of them. I like having them as reference. It's just a cream blush formula I'm always on the lookout for, and I have definitely some favorite colors in here, so keeping those. Okay, my Phytosurgeon's blush obsession is so real. I think I have every shade. I don't quote me, but if I don't, I have almost every shade. So I hope that this video will, if anything, be helpful for these swatches. I bought all these myself, so let's get to swatching. I'm gonna take off all the lids first. Okay, so here we are with all the colors. I know some of these look a little scary. It's not mold, it's a wax bloom. So when I swatch them, you'll see it just kind of crystallizes over time. But this, as you can tell, is like my favorite color. I'm obsessed with this, it's so good. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is because I want to be able to get back to my favorites. So this is the shade Evaporate. Love. Next we have the shade Smolder, and I'm really trying to get in there so you can get the actual idea of the pigment on it. So that's Smolder. This next one's Inferno, and these can definitely sheer out a lot as well. Next here is the shade Singe. It's like a peachy pink. This orange, it's a pretty orangey yellow. That one's called Molten. That one can be a little bit difficult for me just because as you blend it out, it's pretty yellow, so I have to use just a touch of that. But for different undertones, different skin tones, it might be absolutely beautiful. This next one's Fume, which is like almost a greigey purple. This next one is another kind of greigey purple. This is Condensate. And I think that's one of the things I also like about Phytosurgeons is they do some really unique colors. My favorite shade here, Evaporate, like that's just a hard shade to come by, I feel like, in mainstream brands. So I love that they do something a little different. This next shade is called Ember. Then this is Swelter. This shade is Exothermic. This is Sublimate. I really like that one. And then this purple one's called Fervor. And then last for this pink, that one's called Simmer. So those are all of the swatches of my Phytosurgeons collection. Let me zoom out just a little so you can see them all in frame. I have quite the collection. Obviously you don't need all of these, but hopefully some of these swatches are beautiful. They do a lot of really great, like muted and kind of desaturated neutrals that I feel like, again, are kind of hard to find. So Evaporate though is definitely one of my favorites. We are on to ours, and first here we have Rare Beauty, which I feel like a lot. I feel like I have a lot of Rare Beauty. I bought some of these new ones and also some were sent to me. These are the highlighting blushes that recently came out. So let me swatch them for you. I have like a love-hate, I feel like, with these. I think they're beautiful. I love the formula, very silky, they're baked, you know, I love that, but they are quite shiny, so they will show texture. This one's Happy. Happy's one of my favorites. This next one's Truth. This one's a little bit deeper. That's one I think I'm gonna pass on just because it is a little bit harder to work. When I did my try on, you could see just like in different angles, it doesn't always look the best on me. Similar with Love. This is another one I'm gonna pass on just because It's just a little too deep, and the way the shift is, it's not like duochrome, but again with the shine, sometimes it shines different in different lights and angles. So those two didn't work for me personally, just color wise. This one is Cheer, and I really quite like this one as well. It is very, very metallic though. Like this is one that almost looks like a highlighter on because the base pigment is pretty light on it. I'm gonna keep that one though. Then this is Joy, which is kind of the peachy one. I'm gonna keep that one as well. And then last, Hope, I think is really pretty. Okay, let me actually. It's a little more neutral, but still kind of pink. So I'm gonna keep 4 out of the 6. I also have this cream blush from Rare Beauty. This is an older launch from them, but I have it in the shade Nearly. Oh my gosh. Okay, what's going on? I have it in the shade Nearly Rose. It's kind of one of those primer blushes. Like this is very similar to the Danessa Myricks formula. It's similar to any of those. It blends out really pretty and kind of leaves that almost like powdered primer feel. So keeping that. And then I have a bunch of the liquid blushes. I bought 2 of these, but the other ones were sent to me. So I think I'm gonna keep these. These are more reference because again, like so many people love these, and I don't know. I don't know which ones I love color-wise yet on me as much. I'm not as familiar. I need to get. So anyway, I'm gonna keep these for now. I'm just gonna do some bigger swatches. This one's called Joy. This is Virtue. This is one of the ones I bought myself. And I think there's 2 different formulas. I think there's like a more glossy one and a more matte one if I'm not mistaken, but I'm a little less familiar with these. This one's the shade Love. This one's the shade Hope. Oh, I feel like I'd like Hope a lot. I need to try that one because I feel like these are so pigmented. You need the tiniest amount, but Hope seems like one I wouldn't have to be too worried about. Then we have Worth. I think Worth is the other one that I purchased. And then last here, this one is called Happy. So those are all the liquid blushes from Rare that I have. I'm gonna keep all those for now. Okay, I think next is REM Beauty. This is Ariana Grande's brand, and I have 2 of the stick blushes. These are actually really nice stick blushes. The brighter one is called Curtain Call, and then this one's a little more neutral, kind of that brown color, really pretty. That one's called Front Row Center. I don't know. I'm gonna keep both of them, to be honest, at least right now. And then I have this powder blush. This one's so pretty. It's kind of that blurring formula once again, and it's called Rose on Mars. So I think for now, I'm actually gonna keep all 3 of those. I think we are finally to the Rhode blushes. I bought these myself. I bought 4 different colors. I believe there's 6 in the line. So I didn't get all of them because I was like, okay, I do not need all of them, but I did get quite a few just because I wanted to see how they were. And to be honest, I thought all the colors were really pretty. So I think my favorite might be Freckle, just really pretty. And I like this formula. It kind of reminds me, the closest one I think would be the Persona Dream Stick blushes. Maybe a little bit more creamy, but I feel like they're very similar to that formula, which you guys know I like. So this one's Piggy. I thought that was a really pretty pink. I did pick up Spicy Marg. I thought that was pretty for summer. And then Sleepy Girl, I was just intrigued by, you know what I mean? Because it's an interesting color. So those are the 4. I have really been enjoying them. Like I said, they add a nice sheen from the actual formula. You can see they have some shine to them, but good pigmentation overall, so you can blend them out nice and they don't just disappear. And you also don't need to keep layering and layering where then your cheek's really creamy. So I've been enjoying them. The packaging is interesting. I don't know how much I love it just because it feels a little cheap. Although these aren't the most expensive, I feel like Rhode is a little bit more affordable, you know what I mean, instead of like super expensive. So I don't know. I've enjoyed them. I thought it was a nice launch and I think the colors are really pretty. From Ritual Defeat, I have this blush. Now, this is a very stiff cream blush. Like once you start warming it up, it kind of, you know, softens a bit, but it's a very interesting color. That's why I picked it, because I was like, that's so different and it's pretty. I don't know if it's the color for me. It's called Desire. I'm gonna keep it for now. I need to use it this winter, like fall, winter, and if I don't, it's gotta go. But I'm gonna keep it for now. I'm not doing good at the end here, am I? Maybe I should just let go of it. But it's pretty. I can't. I'm not. From RMS, I have 2 different blushes here. This is one of the baked ones, I want to say. It's the Hydra Powder, Dimension Hydra Powder in the shade Maiden's Blush. I believe this was like on sale at Sephora at one point, and I'd been wanting to try them, so I picked it up. But you know, this seems like such a me color, and I can't even sit here and tell you I love it, and I don't know why. It's because I have too many blushes. I need to use this more. So keeping that for now. I think it's beautiful. Stunning color. Then the cream blush I have here, I don't know where I got this. I do not know. Some type of something. Beautiful color. I think this is such a pretty color. Formula might be a little glossy for me, but I need to really try it out because otherwise this is the type of red shade I think looks really good on me. So I'm keeping both of those. From Rowan, I have all 4 of their cream blushes, which I've done swatches. These came out a little bit ago now, and I think I'm ready to move on a few colors. This color I love. I know you know. This is a little more glassy of a formula. So it's a little more glossy on the cheeks, but with a brush, I definitely can make it work. This is Natural Rose. That's the one I want to keep. This next one is called Pink Dusk. And I think I can let go of that one, you know? These are a little bit softer. So I would say if you have, you know, dry skin, these might be a great cream blush formula for you. This red one's really beautiful. This one's called Sunlit Coral. Literally so pretty. I think I might also keep that one just to give it some time to shine. And then this peach, I definitely can let go. Can you tell I'm like against peaches in this video? It's pretty, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna let go of these 2. I actually think this one should have come before Rowan, Rodial, but these are the blush drops in Sunset Kiss. I just don't use these. They're beautiful, okay? These are stunning, but I just don't use them. So I know they need to go, even if I think they are so pretty. You know, they're kind of actually like the Bare Minerals. So if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, I feel like that would be better. Love the sheen this gives. I just don't want it in a dropper liquid form. And if it could be a little less greasy, that would be great. Otherwise, I love it, but that's gonna go. Last, ours, I have Rose Ink here. And I don't really know what's going on with Rose Ink. I know a lot of their stuff's on sale at Sephora. So yeah, I love these cream blushes though. These are some of my favorites. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna keep all of them because I genuinely love all the colors on me. This one's a little like more creamy than the others, but this is, you can tell here with just the pigment difference than some of the other ones. This is Ophelia. That's the pink one. I really love that. I have Heliotrope, which is a little more neutral. Love that. Daylily is another one of my absolute favorites. This is just such a good cream blush formula. So there's Daylily. And then last, Delphine is another one I really like. It's a little more warm, but still very neutral. So I'm keeping all of those blushes. I think they're beautiful. I love the formula and I love all the colors, every single one. We are in the home stretch, you guys. We are on to S's, and first here I have some Say blushes. I really love these. These are the Dew blushes, which I almost feel like this is a weird formula for me to like as much as I do, but I do really love it. So I have Spicy here. Love this for that kind of sunburnt look. And then Baby is really flattering. I feel like baby pink. I know it looks kind of intense here, but the way it blends out, I think looks really great. So I'm keeping both of those. I feel like these are almost an anomaly in my collection, but I genuinely really like these. Next, I have some Salt New York blushes here, and I have palettes here. So let's look at what we have. I have a lot of the blush colors. Some of these were gifted to me, but I've also purchased quite a few of them myself. So let me get them all out. I think that will be easiest so I can swatch them. Okay, so here are all the blushes. I think the new pans must be more squared off than the old ones were more rounded. But let me swatch every shade. I have the color Sunburnt here. And this is a blush formula I really want to just get even more familiar with. Like, I know I like it, but I feel like it's been shoved to the back a little bit lately. This next one's Persimmon. Then there's Cocoa, which is really pretty. I don't know if that one's still available. Maple's another just absolutely beautiful one. This is probably one of my favorites, just color-wise. Next we have Mauve, which is really pretty. Then this is Rose. So that one's Rose. This is Ganache, which looks a lot deeper than I feel like it shears out to. So that's Ganache. And then last, this one is called Horny, and it's like a really bright, kind of almost watermelon or like a raspberry color. So those are all my Salt New York blushes. I have a ton. Again, I'm not gonna get rid of any. I think what might be best for me is to put them into the single compact, so that way I can just reach for them a little bit more because I'll be with my other blushes and thought about that way. Sometimes it's harder in the palette for me. I feel like I go in phases. Like sometimes I'm more into single shadows and single compacts and making my own palettes and all that. And then other times I'm more into individual products. So anyway, I am going to keep all those, and hopefully the swatches, if anything, were really helpful for you guys. Okay, I think next in line would be the Sephora palette, and if you can remember from so long ago, the Chanel Blush Quad, I feel like this is a dupe almost for that. It's baked as well, and I feel like the colors are very similar. Let me swatch it, but I think this I'm going to get rid of just because I have the Chanel Quad. I do think that these powders are pretty high quality though. So if you're looking for something similar, this might be something to look into. This is the darker one actually. I think they might have a lighter one, but that's the swatches of it there. I'm gonna pass on that right now though. Next we have Sigma, and I feel like I have a lot of blushes from Sigma, so let me get these organized. We'll do creams first. I do like this cream formula from Sigma, so I'm just gonna check colors. This is Pashmina, which is a pretty pink. I like the pigment in these. They really go on nice. I think they're really great. This one's a fun color. That one's called Nearly Wild. This next one's called Coral Dawn, which is like an orangey shade. And then my favorite color, it's the favorite color in every single like line. This one's Corda Rosa, and I think that's the only one I'm gonna keep. I like the other ones, but I just think this will let this one shine, so I'm just gonna keep Corda Rosa. And I do have a code for Sigma as well, which is affiliated, and the Sigma products were sent to me. Next, I have these powder blushes, and the powder blushes are beautiful, but they're just in formulas or like finishes I'm not always the biggest fan of. Like these ones here, they're matte, which beautiful matte formula, don't get me wrong, but it's just, I don't gravitate to matte blushes. Can you tell? This one is Berry Love, beautiful. The peachy one is called Sunset Kiss, beautiful. I think someone else can enjoy them more though, so those are gonna go. There's a Corda Rosa shade. Okay, that one's pretty for a matte. I kind of like it, but I'm also like, am I gonna use it? There's a shimmer one here. This one's called Bronze Star. Again, nothing wrong with formula. Beautiful formula. I don't know if I'm gonna use it. And then this one's kind of that peachy pink with a golden sheen. Not necessarily a golden flip though, not too much, but again, I don't know if I'm gonna use any of them, so I'm gonna pass on all of them. And then last for Sigma, I do have this Beauty and the Beast palette, and I cannot lie, the colors in here are really beautiful, but I just don't know if it's the one for me. So again, gonna pass on that. All Alone, I have this Simi Haze Cream Blush Duo. Very futuristic. I feel like this is a Star Wars compact or something. I have this shade Canyon. This is what it looks like, and I actually do quite like the formula. There's two different blushes in here. One's a little more matte, and then one's more like creamy and a little glossy. So you get two different like blush formulas and two different colors. It's interesting. I'm gonna keep it for now. It's another one that like I just want to use for like a week straight. Like I really have just been enjoying like digging into a product and then making a decision. So keeping that for now. Last two in S, let's just do these. I have the Stila Convertible Color. This is in the shade Peony. This is like a classic cream blush product, okay? I think I'm gonna keep it. This is such a classic. And I do think this kind of formula is so nice because again, that pigment's there, but it also leaves a little bit of a sheen, you know, and long lasting. So I'm gonna keep that. This Summer Friday stick, on the other hand, oh, okay. Well, if that didn't make my decision for me, let me just swatch it. Look at this. It's one of those really sheer balmy colors, but then it's also like a silicone-y balm, but also kind of greasy. Just not a good formula. It's not a good formula. That's gotta go. That's the Warm Desert shade. I did not like these. Oh my gosh, you guys, there is just so much blush on this paper. We're moving on to teas. I think first we have Tarte, and this is the shade Pink Sky. This is a beautiful color, okay? I don't know. I'm gonna keep it for the color because I just think that's stunning. It looks almost like it's gonna be a cool, dusty rose, but then it kind of blends out warm. Just beautiful. So I'm gonna give that a little bit more attention. I'm surprised I'm keeping that. Then I have this Tom Ford blush. This came out with a like heart collection, I think earlier this year, and it's beautiful. It's kind of a pinky peach. It has a little bit of a sheen to it. Really pretty, easy every day. You know what I mean? And this is like peach in a way that I like. So keeping that, it's really cute. And then I do have 3 Tower 28 blushes. I really like this formula. My favorite is the Magic Hour. As you can tell, it's like pretty well loved. I probably should replace it soon, but I just think the color, like, are all these the same color? Wait. I just love what I love, right? I used to think like, oh, I want variety, but if you're only mostly using the same colors. Like, I'm realizing, at least in this phase of my life, I'm like, no, I don't want a bunch of colors that just give me a bunch of shades to choose from when I'm never going to choose those shades. I'd rather have like basically the same color in all my blushes and rotate them and love them and use them all the time. Anyway, there's this red one which came out with the Kung Fu Panda 4. It was like a collab. So that's the shade Dumpling Hour. And I feel like that one's a little more sheer, actually. And then we have this Barbie pink, which is called Dream Hour, which is also quite pretty. I think I'm going to keep all of them for now. So I'm going to keep all of them, but definitely Magic Hour is my favorite. Truly, truly in the home stretch now. We're on to use. This is the Unearthly Spring Magic Palette. I swatched this on my face. If you want face swatches, it's in that video. And some of these worked for me and others did not work for me. It's all shimmer and they're pretty intense. I feel like blushes. So as much as I liked some of the colors, I just don't think it's worth it for me to keep a whole palette for only half of it to work on me. You know what I mean? So I think this is one I'm going to pass on. This was in PR basically. So those are the swatches. If you're looking for some intense, shimmery, fun blushes, it might be something to look into, but I'm going to pass on it. The only other use that I have these Oma Beauty. These are the ones though that are at Walmart. So it's not the normal Oma Beauty. It's like the kind of sub brand of it, which is a little bit more inexpensive. I'm not sure this brand exists. I'm not really sure what's going on with this brand either right now, but these are cream blushes. I was at Walmart and I thought, oh, I'm gonna try these. You know, they're okay, but I definitely didn't need these. I didn't need these. You know what I mean? I was fine without them. Although this color is beautiful, I'm just passing it on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if it's around. I don't know. They're going. Next for V, I have one product from Victoria Beckham. This is a blush stick in the shade Mini Skirt. Beautiful. Okay, I am keeping this. This is, again, I can't wait to bust this out and use this because this is something I want to be really, you know, using in and out, really knowing, really loving. Like, that's such a good feeling. And so, yeah, keeping that. Love the color. We're on to W's. I have a Wander Beauty blush duo here. It's a stick blush and it has a blush on one side, which I actually think this is a really beautiful color. Like, I think it's so pretty. And then on the other side, there's actually a highlighter, which this highlighter is a little bit dark. I don't know if you can see, but it's still kind of stunning. Like, I don't know. I feel like Wander Beauty and Iconic London, those brands to me, I don't know. There's something in common with them. Does that make sense? I think I'm still going to pass it, even though it's pretty. I'm tempted, but this is one of those things that I think I'll be happier to pass on than to kind of clog up my collection, even if I could love this product. So I'm gonna let it go. Next, we have some Westman Atelier, and I have really been loving this Peau de Pêche. This is, I think, more of like a highlighter, but on me it's a little bit deeper. So it kind of works as this bronzy blush. I usually still add a little bit more of a color to it as well, but this sheen is stunning. It's kind of like that Rodial blush drop, but in a cream form that works for me. So love that. Very expensive, but I've been loving it. And then I have a mini of the blush. This is the shade Dodo Doo-Doo. I don't think it's Doo-Doo. It's D-O-U-D-O-U. Anyway, I think this just barely became a mini and I thought, oh, I'll try it out. Maybe not the color I should have bought, but I'm going to keep it for now. This could be another one that I think for fall could be pretty, so I'll test this out, see how I like it. Love the mini offerings from Westman Atelier if you don't want to go full in on a big one. And then this from Wet n Wild, this was sent to me. It's an Alice in Wonderland, like, I don't know, blush thing. I'll swatch it. I'm supposed to swatch everything, so here we go. Just, yeah, I don't think it's really for me. The packaging, like everything about it just isn't quite my style currently, so I'm going to pass on that. Plus, you know, it's like kind of really just swirl this kind of thing all together because you're not getting a brush into the individual pans. Pretty nice pigment, some good shine, but not too much. It's not like it's a bad powder, but it's definitely not something that I reach for within this massive collection. The last brand on the roster, we have Yensa, and I have a few things here. These I bought and these were sent to me. So let's do these first because I know I want to keep Ginger Blaze. This is just a really pretty color. It's just like a pretty orange, but like a more burnt terracotta orange. You guys know, I like these colors when I want something summery. I feel like it's nice. And this one's just slightly different. It's not as red. It is more orange leaning. And I think it's beautiful. So keeping that. This one, no. The pink, it's not like it's bad. I'm just, guys, I can't have this. If I wore pink as much as I wore these colors, fine, have every pink, you know what I mean? But I'm over the pink. Remind me next time I want to buy a baby pink blush that I can't. Just gonna keep the ginger blaze. And then these ones were sent to me. This is like their BB stick. You can use them on the cheeks, you can use them on the lips type thing. And unfortunately, this is just a way more glossy formula. So I just didn't love it. I've tried these a lot. I've tried different colors and they just don't quite work for me. I know they seem promising, but I'm telling you, on the cheeks, they just sheer out in a way that I feel like I have to keep adding product, but then it feels kind of heavy on my cheeks. So I'm gonna pass them on. They're still like fresh and hopefully someone else could use them. They're not like horrible overall, but just for me and my preferences, again, not really what I want. So you can almost see it too, like not as shiny, way more shiny. Oh my gosh, guys, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this collection and declutter. I hope it was relaxing, or if it helped you declutter some of your stuff, if that was helpful. I just hope you enjoyed it. And I'll show you what I got rid of because it's an entire tub, like a whole tub. So I can't wait to clean this makeup up. For anything that's not bad or too worn, I will definitely find some nice homes for it. And I'm excited to be able to shop and explore and use my collection a little bit easier now. So also, I totally forgot about the maybe pile. I think I'm just gonna get rid of them. I think, you know, looking at my whole collection, all the makeup I have, I don't think I'm gonna miss them. I almost forgot to finish and tell you what I'm gonna do about them. So I'm gonna get rid of them. I think I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Okay, bye guys.